Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey everyone, Luke here again with Party Chance to talk about this week's edition of Weekly Shonen Jump manga chapters. Apologies because had a bit of technical issues getting going, but we're sorted now, so it looks like we're good to go.
Yep. I'm just going to start off by saying this week had some stellar chapters, just like all around. I'm very
Oh,
excited to talk about these.
oh yeah, definitely. I'm definitely excited to talk about some of these myself. But I know some people are kind of like a bit unsure about them based on what I've seen on Twitter from one particular person who's very hard to please on Twitter when it comes to the Shonen Jump mangas. But what can you do?
Sure. So, what do you want to start with? The new series. Did you get caught up on Undead Unluck?
Yeah. No, didn't get caught up on Undead Unluck, but I am working. I am working on it. I've just gotten past the point where Victor was introduced and he was fighting against the Union. So
Oh, yeah. I remember
just
that
got
fight.
past
Yeah.
yeah, just got past that part. So yeah, but I did get caught up on Doradora. I guess we can talk about that first.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll be a good one. It's a pretty simple one to talk about. So,
Yeah,
just pull that
so
one up.
let me pull that one up. Where is it? Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Dora. So I guess my first impressions of it as a series was I was pleasantly surprised by it. It was pretty much this was again pretty much a series what I thought Red Hood was going to be because it just had it has like a lot of traditional shonen elements, sort of like Bleach, Bleach, sort of like Bleach combined with My Hero vibes, and that has a lot of mystery and intrigue about what these creatures are in the world, and certainly has a lot of potential, particularly from the fact that normally in manga you have the main female and main male like sort of meeting up right away, but this one they've sort of like taken their time with it, kind of building the mystery of the main female.
Yeah, I remember when I saw her in like the first chapter, I thought she would be a background character, but I mean, one, looking at this art and the end of this chapter, it seems like she's gonna have a bigger role than I thought. So I'm very interested to see what's going on with her.
Yeah, I'm surprised she said that about her being a background character, considering she's on the when you open up the app, she's like right there on the cover.
Yeah, I'll be honest, like she's very overshadowed by the male lead and his
Oh yeah,
partner. So
oh yeah, definitely. But the fact that she's on there shows like
yeah, no,
she's
you're right. I definitely should have seen that one.
yeah, she's going to be a big role. Although we could have said the same about Tiger and Doctor Stone.
You are very straight. So, the other thing for my first impression is this is a series that I feel like is playing as safe a route as possible. I looked at the author's previous stuff. This seems to be someone who's had a couple one shots and attempted a series like in 2017, but got axed fairly quickly. So I think they were much like how Horikoshi was with My Hero and Tabitha was with Black Clover. They're picking a premise that's very simple, that can get people interested, that can stay safe in the manga, in the Shonen Jump. But what of course those series have eventually over time is some unique identifier of like why this series is worth reading over other series. And I'm hoping to see this series pick that up sooner rather than later, because right now it's like good, but it also feels like it doesn't feel distinct yet, is what I'm going to
Yeah,
say. I like it. I like the characters, but there's nothing interesting about them, so to speak.
yeah.
It's just
I
a
think
fun executed series right now.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel like what could make it unique is if it turned out there was like a big twist and the samurai that are actually hunting the what are they called again? Mo- Monocos are actually
Yeah.
humanoid
But no
monocles.
case.
Are actually humanoid mononokes themselves. So it's kind of like a de facto Mononoke faction trying to get rid of the other Mononokes.
I could see something like that. I mean, obviously, we have no indication of it, but the fact that only some people are capable of hunting these things, you could be right that this could be a situation where the people who have possessed the power to fight the supernatural have themselves something like that maybe even they're not aware of.
Yeah. Or
And
it could
therefore our characters as outsiders could fight against.
yeah. Or it could turn out that everyone that's a member of the samurai clan has a Mononoke partner themselves, and they're just not revealing it yet.
I mean, I could see that. I actually thought about that myself, but it's just, I mean, would be an interesting twist because that would mean that that's a like I don't know if these are, I forget if they're government sponsored. I think they're government based organization.
Yeah.
So that would mean that they are that fact would be a government secret. Because usually when like in Seraph of the End, which is a series I absolutely love, they fight like demons with other demons and also vampires with demons, and of course in Bleach, we have like Ichigo using like hollow powers and whatnot. Usually, when they're using demon powers, it's typically not a secret. But if it's a secret in this case, I mean, that wouldn't be like the most distinguishing factor, but it could lead to some stuff down the line.
Yeah, I can agree on that front. But I guess we should just talk about this chapter. So
yeah. So, did you want to do? How do you want to do this? Chapter 1 and 2, or did you just like start from this chapter?
we could just start from this chapter because basically, cause for context for everyone who doesn't know, this world inhabited by creatures called Moronokes. They're eating humans, so there's a group of samurais going out to try and stop them. The main character wants to be a samurai. He's basically told, "No, you can't be, so screw off." And he ends up finding a Mononoke who seems weak but has the power to transform into weapons themselves. And they partner up together to kind of like be the ultimate defenders of peace in the town, and that's basically the premise of the first chapter.
Yeah, and I guess to add on to that, the other things with this character is we have the I'm doing this for my dead mom, and the character themselves has like no spiritual or energy or whatever the equivalence of that is in this world. And so because of that, what they do have is similar to Black Clover, just absurd amounts of strength. So basically, our protagonist is the muscle, and our Mononosuke, I'll remember their names eventually, like our little weapons.
Kusangi.
Kusanagi, thank you. Yeah, Kusanagi. Kusanagi, he is like our weapon. So it's kind of like Bleach, where you have a living weapon kind of thing going on. Which again, not too untypical of shonen, but we'll see where it goes there. Because right now I just like their dynamic where I want to know why Kusanagi is so different from other Mononosuke. Like he doesn't want to eat anybody. He wants to help people for reasons we don't know. Our MC is doing it for his dead mom.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this girl, I don't know anything about her other than she's really good at being a samurai.
Yeah, we have no idea what this supposed main female is all about, but I'm pretty interested to find out because from the ending of chapter 2, it looks like we're actually going to get her being introduced in chapter 3.
Yep. Although, I'm hoping she doesn't become a love interest. That is my one ask.
You know, that's what's going to happen.
But I don't want. Okay, remember when Dr. Stone, where Kohaku said, "I'm very fond of you," and then immediately shut down any romantic inclinations like the chapter after?
Yeah, well,
I want something like that.
Dr. Stone is the exception to every rule in the book.
That's why it's so good. But yes, please take a page from Dr. Stone's book and don't do a love interest thing, because I feel like once we go down that route, our character is going to be infinitely less interesting. Because our whole motivation will just be, I'm doing this for the guy I have feelings for that I met just yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough. So
that's just me. I'm not huge into romance in most stories, with some exceptions.
Yeah. So in chapter 2, we have basically Kusanagi and our male lead. What was his name again? Let me find. It was saying Dora. Yeah.
It's a pretty simple name. We'll probably remember Dora.
Yeah, we'll probably remember Dora. So we have Kusanagi and Dora basically trying to get to know each other and trying to figure out ways of how to be discreet. Like, oh, I'm going to change it into a hat, or I'm going to change it into a bag. But no, they just get in the way for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So it kind of makes sense. He has to disguise himself because, of course, Kusanagi is like the only exception to this Mononosuke rule, and he would be hunted on sight if the other samurai saw him, which kind of leads into what happens next, like of the samurai coming in and him needing to hide. And of course, he doesn't want to get Dora in trouble either.
Oh yeah, definitely. Uh, uh, so as was stated, we have two samurai from this samurai corps thing, whatever it is. Oh, by the way, one thing they do.
Isanagi corpse, apparently. It's in the back of their shirts. I just realized.
Oh, Izanagi corps. Yeah. One thing I don't want to happen. I think a lot of people don't want to happen is, oh, you wanna get in Izanagi corps, you got to do a training montage. Like, no, we are not having a training arc right off the bat.
Oh man, I mean, if we are, at least got to keep it very short.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I just remembered when I said that, like the last chapter, they basically said, "Oh, I've got to get through the training." No, you're not doing the training.
Oh wait, did they? Okay.
I think they did. Let me see. Let me go back to chapter 1 and just quickly skim through it. So yeah, finding that samurais are cool. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you take the samurai entrance exam? A capable college. You failed. So yeah, basically, right off the bat, failed. I think that was the author's way of just saying, like, yeah, we're not doing a training montage. Well, we're not doing a training arc.
My way of, I think it was the author way of setting up that this character is going to kind of act more like a, renegade kind of thing rather than part of a group, at least for now.
Yeah, at least for now.
I'm actually kind of hoping he stays that way, but we'll get to that near the end of the chapter.
Yeah. So we have two samurai.
The samurai. I like their uniforms.
Pardon?
I just want to say I like their uniforms.
Oh,
I like the character designs in this manga so far.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
very simple, but nice.
Have you noticed that the symbol kind of looks like a gaming joystick?
No, yeah, no. That's
if you look at it, looks like an Atari joystick.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. That's a good spot. I don't know. It's interesting. It's cool.
So we have these two samurai coming in, and to make up the fact that Dora wasn't talking to Mononoke, he was saying, "No, I was talking to myself."
Yeah, comedy is not too bad. It's not like laugh out loud, but it's pretty good.
No, it's not. It's not like how I would describe Witch Watchers comedy, because that does
exactly.
that does make me laugh, and also can't wait when we talked about that chapter.
Oh yes, but we'll have to wait.
So they mentioned that there's been a number of Mononoke incidences along the basically the pier where Dora is, and it's off limits at night. But it seems like he's able to kind of get them off his back, and we find out that he basically forced Kusanagi to basically be in the river, basically be in the water.
Yep, and apparently he can't swim, so that's probably like a detail to keep in mind.
Yeah, which will probably come in handy if there was like a Mononoke who battled underwater.
Yep. So yeah, that'll be probably something to keep in mind for later. Yeah. I don't think it's necessarily just a joke. Continuing onwards, the Mononoke we fight this time, he's just really ugly. Just really ugly looking.
Yeah, he looks. I'm trying to think. Like, what does he actually look like?
Yeah, it's probably based off of some Japanese thing. I just don't know what it is. Yeah. I was gonna guess a sea urchin, but I don't know.
Possibly, because it looks like he's coming up from the water.
Yeah, probably some marine life, but we don't really know much about these creatures. And so far, it's like 2 chapters in.
Yeah, so apparently this creature, this Mononoke, its fur is actually comprised of scales. So it's not fur that we're actually looking at. It's actually armor that can never be penetrated. And of course, whenever anybody says that, you know it's going to be penetrated.
I know, right? As soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, well, it hasn't been penetrated yet.
Yeah. So we have Dora and Kusanagi springing into action. Kusanagi turns into his katana form, which rather than using it as an actual katana, Dora decides to use it as basically as like a missile. Like just basically, I'm just gonna chuck it at this Mononoke.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it worked. And the other thing is, like, our characters are characterizing themselves as very self-sacrificial, willing to put themselves in dangers for others, blah blah blah. That's not too interesting by itself, but it's kind of just like their character traits are very generic. But hopefully, we'll get more into
Yeah,
them, and
yeah,
they develop over time.
yeah. Hopefully, because we're just in the beginning stages, so hopefully they'll get more development. So we have basically one of the samurai saying, I'm Monoke, and Kusanagi's like, yes, I'm Monoke, but worry about your friend. Who was attacked by the Mononoke that was attacking them. Just get him to the hospital. And we have Dora picking him up, running away, and rather than actually, this is something that I actually did like, because rather than actually attacking them and putting them into a lock, the other samurai actually thanks them for what they did.
Yeah, that's true. I did like that as well, I think, this chapter, because usually this is the part where they will say something like, oh no, he has to be killed, or there's no such thing, and blah, blah, blah. But in this case, this guy's like, oh, my life just got saved. And I will also add to that, of course, the first samurai we meet are somehow really weak despite being samurai. And our MC with zero training it just destroyed the monster that was just manhandling them.
Yeah. That kind of like reminds me of like the scaling that was happening in Bleach, because it was like if you remember when Chad was fighting Shunsui in the Soul Society arc, he defeated a third seat from Shunsui's division. So then he was like, oh, this guy's the captain, but I fought the third seat, so he must be only a few. He must not be as tough as he was. But no, it turned out Shunsui was actually one of the strongest out there.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah.
that's kind of like the vibe I'm getting here. Like, even though they are samurai, they might be of the lower tier of samurai, if that makes sense.
For me, I thought of Demon Slayer, where I don't know how much of Demon Slayer you know, but
I
during
only know a fair little.
okay, that's fine. So there was like one arc where our characters went to the mountains to fight some demon, and there was a lot of other Slayer corps there of like very low ranking. And our characters, of course, at the time were also low ranking, but at the same time, because they are the main characters, they eventually came out on top. It was a tough fight for them, but it was still like, okay, well, the main characters are, of course, just going to be significantly stronger than these random nobodies.
Yeah. Also, just want to say hi, Arbor. We're talking about the newest one of the newest series that came out recently. Dora. It's hard to
Doron.
it's hard to pronounce, so I'm just calling it Dora. That's basically what I'm calling it.
That's fine. Our main character's name is Dora. It's probably named after him anyway.
If you're still here, Arbor, where I haven't forgot your comment. I'm going to be reading them as we go along. So if you want to put some more, be my guest. But yeah,
next we just finished the fight, and they're telling the guy to get to the hospital.
Yeah. What else? What else is there?
Oh yeah, and then I do like. Then there's just some like character bonding going on. But I was gonna say, let's see, some stuff about partnership. I want to get to the Leak Samurai. What were your thoughts on that? Because for me, I was thinking to myself, okay, I feel like this was supposed to be some kind of emotional moment where it's like, oh, I remember I was the Leak Samurai for my mom or something. But it's like it was one chapter ago, and I don't think I have enough emotional investment in this moment for this to mean anything. So it just kind of felt like a weird joke.
Yeah, I was like, when I heard Leak Samurai, the first thing that came to me was like Galarian Farfetch'd and Surfetch'd, because his Leak is basically his sword.
Yeah. And yeah, Ann Arbor, I will admit this series is super generic. And if that's like a turn off for you, I could definitely say for now it's not worth trying out. But I think for me, there's so many shonen series like earlier that have like ended recently have kept trying to push the envelope, try new things, which I really enjoy. But I guess because we had so much of that to the point where only like really Black Clover and maybe One Piece just because of its age can be considered like very classic shonen that these new series like Doron just being like, hey, we're just going to be a very standard shonen series and that's going to be us. I'm actually okay with it just because it's almost stands out by being a standard shonen series.
Yeah, yeah, and also hi Danny Fo, thank you for coming. Hope you're all right. We're not talking about Dr. Stone yet, so we'll let you know when we are talking about that to avoid spoilers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if I want to save it for the end like we usually do, or save something else for the end.
We'll save it for the end. We'll save it for the
That's
end.
fine. Doctor
Yeah.
Stone's usually our big series that we talk
Yeah.
about, so we'll save that for the very end.
Yeah. So we have Dora basically talking about being the leaky samurai. Then
which I just thought it was just a really stupid joke.
Yeah.
But then the headphones. I did want to say again, these character designs are great. I love the headphones.
I love that as well because basically it's the most inconspicuous item, but makes so much sense why they would pick that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I remember the name of but the main character from Hamatora, I believe his name was Nice. He also had a pair of headphones, and I think when I really got to like him, I realized I just like characters who have headphones. It's part of their design element. It's like a very classic look.
Yeah. So to end out chapter 2, we have basically everyone telling from Dora and Kusanagi who they saved in the last 2 chapters, like, hey, there's this guy out here with Mononoke who's actually nice. They're being basically vigilantes, and we have the main female picking up on this and actually observing them. So hopefully in the next chapter we'll find out more about what her deal is.
Yeah, I know we saw a little bit of her last time. I'm trying to see if
we did. I think she was the one who slain the Mononoke, and they were like, "Oh, samurais, they're so cool."
Yeah, basically. Yeah, I don't think we actually get her name there. We just see her fighting. She just, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, we don't even know who she is. She's just the main girl, and again, hopefully, it's not a love interest.
Yeah,
that's my main thing. I don't want to know a love interest. So cliche. I know this story is full of cliches, but that's the one cliche I really don't like.
Okay. And yep, the headphones look good. Albor. So yeah, they do look good. So yeah, that was Doradora. Bit cliched, but playing it safe, and hopefully it can come out of these cliches and do it have its own identity.
Yep. I think I have faith in this series. I mean, I think that other series we dropped, Protect Me, whatever, Shukumaru or something.
Protect Me,
Shukumaru. That can just be axe bait. I would just like protect the series, let it survive a bit longer, get a story going.
What's wrong with the mouth of the main female? It's just an arrow. It's just an arrow down. Like what? What?
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. I think it's just an art style.
Or maybe that actually might play into my theory that there might be Monokes who can actually take on humanoid forms. And she's actually
that would be cool.
And she's actually a Mononoke herself.
Well, that or have some descendant blood. But yeah, the more I look at it, you're right. That mouth is very weird. Oh man, yeah. I'm not going to be able to see this now. Thanks, Ann Arbor.
Yeah, thanks, Ann Arbor, for that. So yeah, that was Doradora. So let's see. Which series do you fancy looking at next?
Let's see. Well, if we're sticking with the new series, we can then go on to Ayashimon.
Oh yeah, Ayashimon. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, just bringing it up. There we go. So
I want to first start with the fact that my theory was sort of actually right.
Yes.
Last time.
Yes, I know. Your theory was pretty spot on that the Ayashimons basically become are basically
Money.
are basically made of money.
Yeah, because okay, so what I said last time, for those who don't know, is I saw the explosion of money and I was very confused. At first I thought, oh, maybe he smuggled in a bunch of money. But then I'm like, okay, but then why would he just explode like money everywhere? And then I thought about this theory where our characters could go around beating down these Ayashimon and just earning a living, because the series chapter one started with the character saying, "I need a way to earn money," and it's like, well, here you go. This is RPG rules: beat down a monster, get money. And really, that's what we're doing. Except instead of it being an RPG land, it's more just like, I guess, Japanese like manifestations of emotions into money. Yeah, whatever. The character is going to earn money by beating up monsters.
Yeah, it's
And
basically
it's awesome.
I think it's basically supposed to be our world just as an RPG.
Oh man, but
So, so it's basically
I really like that. I was right about it. So just wanted
yeah,
to put that out.
yeah. So if that's the case, it's basically Isekai Inception, basically.
Something like that, yeah. So yeah, he exploded into money, and then we get our new character. What's his name?
Uh,
10.
10. That would be
Again,
something.
another simple name.
Another simple name. What does that mean? He's only worth like 10 yen.
You
Oh,
know what? That could just be the
please,
joke.
please say it. Please say his last name's Yen, so that you can have 10 yen, 10 yen, 10.
I don't know. They're Ayashima. I don't know if they have last names,
Oh,
but yeah, that would be fun.
yeah,
This let's see. Anyway, so then he's literally just asking to be their underling and take him to the office.
yeah. But
But I think his reason for taking him to the office is just to get rid
if
of the horrible
yeah,
people who've been abusing him.
yeah, basically turning him into a slave, and now he's seen how physically strong the main character is, and he's just like, oh great, I have someone who can take care of them. Can I be your underling? But what I find funny is that you'd think that, oh, okay, you're the underling, you can carry the big sister now, but no, it's actually the main character still carrying the big sister on his back.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think he is the primary bodyguard, so that kind of fits. I
Yeah,
did like
fair enough.
how Moru, the MC, he's like, "You guys are scammers. That makes you the bad guys." And I'm like, "Did you think you were the good guys? There are no good guys in this story, my friend."
No, no, they're not. No, they're not.
But
You're
that's what makes it
more,
good. That's what I like.
yeah, more. You're not a saint yourself.
Hmm.
I mean, more. You're plagiarizing. You're plagiarizing moves from manga. So you think scammers are
Oh,
bad?
that reminds me of Ghost Rider. They got in so much trouble for plagiarizing, but this time it's a joke, so I
I
think it's fine. It's
know.
a
I know.
parody.
I'm joking. I'm joking off.
I know. I just thought of it. And yes, Ann Arbor. I see what you're saying, that the protagonist like can take damage, but as far as I'm concerned, he's still at this point in the story, he's still at the level of being like way too OP for his own good. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, of course, the fact that he can take damage means that eventually he'll probably fight enemies he'll lose to. So that is true.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So we have all of them going to Ten's boss's hideout. Uh, um,
Yeah, apparently there's like millions of these gangs too. So there's a lot of small gangs around.
yeah,
I'll join
and
them.
we have him going, oh wait, the boss isn't around, that's great. So today these two are going to take down this office, and it's going to belong to them. And the other mob members are like, what are you blabbing about? And Ten is basically like that younger brother is like, yeah, there you go, big brother, big sis, please just go and get rid of them for me.
Yep. And I mean, I have a younger sibling, but I'm not about to fight my brother's fights. And also, he is definitely stronger than me by this point.
Yeah. Yeah, and then of course, because this mug, the boss has to come in, who who looks, I, I don't know how you would like. He's got like
It's like Cyclops. He looks like Cyclops from
I was
X-Men.
gonna say Cyclops, but I was like, no, I don't think that's what they're going for with him.
No, it's almost like definitely Cyclops, or like that one character from Star Trek whose name I can't remember off the top of my head.
George, No, it's not Geordie. Let me Visored Star Trek character.
Yeah, that'll work actually. But just a quick thing on Ten's backstory. It's a very simple, it seems like yokai lose power based on belief. So I guess a lot of things to know about the Ayashimon is that fate in the Ayashimon from humans is a source of strength for them. So it's kind of an interesting symbiotic relationship where Ayashimon have to eat people, but then people are the source of their strength as well. So yeah, just like a nice little touch of world building. But this series hasn't been going too hard into it yet, but I think it's just slowly building up the
Yeah,
world and the background before.
yeah, and also I found it out. Geordie from Star Trek. That's it.
Oh, it
That's
was
who.
Geordie.
Yeah, it was Geordie. Um, so yeah, Ten is obviously terrified of the boss, and I've just realised why he's called Ten. If you look at the panel on pages 6 and 7, where he's like, "I'm sorry, sir," he literally has 10 on his back.
Wait, does he? Let me see. Oh yeah, when he's. Oh yeah, yeah.
When he's
Huh.
bowing, there's literally 10 on his back. So maybe that's not his actual name. Maybe that's just like, oh,
A nickname?
a nickname because I'm wearing the jersey that has 10. So maybe there's like a guy there. I'm 100. I'm 30.
You know what? Yeah, that would work. And then maybe you're right. Maybe this is just their dollar value
Oh my god!
or
Yeah,
yen value, I should say.
that would be
Japan.
that would be hilarious if that's the case. If that is literally how much he's actually worth.
That would be sad. But yeah, then again, it's kind of like in origami, like you can get a lot for a small amount of yen. I think now I have to remember if it was like a 10 yen. That's how much the services cost in origami. I might just look that up in the background while we keep talking.
Yeah. So we have Moria, like the MC and
Oh,
the
sorry, it was 5 yen. It was a 5 yen
oh
coin in origami.
five. Yeah. So
Yeah,
we have
Yaoto, the main character, takes 5 yen for jobs.
yeah.
It's,
Um. So what? Well, I've
yeah,
just lost
so then
track.
the boss came in. He started
Yeah.
sucking up to him real quick.
Yeah. And then we have the MC going, didn't you say you want me to beat him up? And no, I don't want you to beat me up. Bow before the greatness of bow before the greatness of boss. Like he's just called boss. Like
Yeah,
do,
we don't
do you
actually get a name for
do
him,
you
I think.
actually have a name?
He might. We'll see it on the chapter if it comes up. But yeah, I like how even Maru was like, I know I'm stupid, but I don't get this. And it's like, it's okay. I also don't get this.
Yeah,
That was the
that's
best joke.
yeah, that's bad when even the most logical person in the room is like, no, I don't get this either.
Yeah, it's just really dumb.
Yeah. And of course, because Ten is used as a slave, he's basically abused by everyone. With the boss saying you're nothing but a gutless slave with nowhere to run. This whole town is stuffed with gangs looking to make it big, and with Kitsch dead, we can get away with nastier hustles than before. So with like the main mafia boss being dead, everyone else can get away with doing everything. Yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of just like the running theme that people are getting away with worse stuff without having this head up there. So that's kind of what they're going
Yeah.
for.
Yeah. So uh, so 10 obviously sucking up to them a little bit more. But the boss being a little bit pleasant at this moment in time by saying, "Oh, please have a seat and enjoy some tea and enjoy some tea from us because you're our honor guest." But of course, this be him being like a sort of mafia guy. He's like, "Yeah, just make sure to leave all your valuables when you go." But they don't have any valuables. That's the thing.
That is also true. But then our leader, I keep forgetting these characters' names. Sorry, guys. I'll get used to it eventually.
Yeah,
But like our big sis, she just like bets herself and for the upcoming encounter. And we get
yeah,
to finally learn what ritual duels are, which we got a
yeah.
hint of last time.
And we get to see her without her kimono on
Yeah, well, the backside.
the backside, which what do you think of like this tattoo design on her back?
Yeah, so let's see. I mean, looks like we have some flowers, some feathers. I'm pretty sure there's probably some symbolism in Japan, but I just think it looks pretty. That's as far as I got.
Yeah. Well, if you look at the bottom, there's like more. There's like a little bit more of detail going on. Like there's some pet, like yeah, there's flower. It's certainly meant to be flowers, but it looks like yeah. I'm just trying to figure out like it could be like flames for we know as well. Like
Oh yeah, you're saying there might be some more tattoo that we can't see
yeah, because you can see like there's like a sort of like cloudy formation on the or when she
on
first
her
revealed
shoulders.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you go down that like cloudy formation is kind of gone a little bit. So it's like what is that?
Yeah, you could be right. I mean, hard to say.
Yeah. Uh but I honestly want to know is this just on her back or is there like something on her front as well? Like something on her stomach?
Could be. She could have a lot of tattoos, but
Yeah.
the fact that she showed them that and that uh, wasn't good enough for them. These tattoos clearly have some significance in their society.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a family thing. It might say something about her ranking. I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, the challenge for the challenge for the boss is basically if you can defeat the MC, then she will do whatever she will do whatever he wants. But if they lose, then it's the home base for the yeah. It might actually be now that you mentioned that it might actually be the tattoo of the Urara family.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. Because isn't she the head of her family? Isn't that what it was stated?
Effectively, because her dad's dead.
Yeah. So this might actually be the tattoo of the head of the family.
Could be,
Yeah,
but it's something.
yeah. So we have them. What I love as well about this show is that we get into like the idea of just like the battle system as well. That's being kind of set up here with this like one-on-one ritual duel and how it's going to be playing out as opposed to other fights that we've seen at the so far in the series.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't. There's probably more to this ritual fight in like traditional Japanese culture, but unfortunately, I don't know what it is. But it, at the very least, I guess it's just their way of formally dueling each other. Then this guy is apparently an Amamehagi.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so a northeastern monster said to terrorize the lazy with knives, chisels, and hammers.
This is very specific stuff,
Yeah,
but then again, that's how.
very specific that targeting, terrorizing the lazy.
And
Um,
with knives, chisels, and hammers.
yeah,
He's holding a hammer and a chisel.
yeah, uh, yeah. They could have gone the whole route with like having it rather than his head being a box, his head was a knife.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. I guess it's supposed to be. I don't know what it's supposed to be actually. It's just his mask, and apparently when they reveal their mask, they get their true power. But that's kind of pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that was pretty straightforward. That's kind of reminiscent of the excuse me, the visors in Bleach as well. Like when they put the mask on, they get the hollow powers.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess actually that's a good point. I didn't think about that. But you're right. It's probably inspired by that. I always like that. There's another series I watched. I forgot what it's called, Mask something, but it also had like masks enhancing people's powers. It's a cool concept.
Okay, all right. So basically, basically,
What that
the
name was called.
the idea about this guy is that the more people that are under his control is a sign of how often he has actually won. And yeah, there are way too there are way there are quite a few people here, but of course, the MC being the MC, just those words of just being told like, okay, this guy the more people he has under his control showcase how often he's won, that basically overloads his brain, just that simple information.
Yeah, and I didn't even understand that one, to be honest, because it wasn't even a complex topic. It just meant the more people he has working for him, the stronger he's likely to be. That's just simple correlation.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But I think
Man, our characters, Mario's really dumb.
Yeah, I think what it is the fact that I think Mara was trying to count how many people were there, but there was
Oh, okay.
there,
Actually, that's still funny. He
that
just struggles with counting. Oh man.
no. There's like he's like there's like 7, 8, 9. Wait, did I count that one twice? I can imagine that's probably what he was doing.
That's funny, actually. But yeah, he's basically dumb, punchy boy. Which, again, since we just talked about Dororon, uh, this is like these series seem to be going with the strong, dumb protagonist, very standard. Uh, but I guess while this series has its Ayashimon to kind of distinguish itself, along with it's almost like morally gray, like standards of its world. The other series doesn't quite have it yet. So I like how this series in 4 chapters did a pretty good job of feeling very unique, despite having also like a super generic main character.
Yeah. I think having a super generic main character is all right as long as the other elements around them are fleshed out a bit more, because it's very difficult to have characters like Senku and what's another unique, and I would say Tayo is quite unique main character. It's very
I don't know
difficult.
if I'd say that, but Senku, yeah, definitely a good example. It's hard to have like really distinguishing main characters.
Yeah.
Sure.
Uh, I only say Tayo because it's not every day where you have like an MC who's married in the
Okay,
series.
I mean, sure. I guess that aspect. I was gonna say as a character, Tai is not like super
And also,
interesting.
but he's not dumb as well. Tayo's not a dumbass.
No, but I mean,
But in
there's
terms,
probably a lot of like character. I mean, I'd say a better example would probably be like almost Andy from Undead Unluck.
oh
You
yeah,
have an immortal
yeah,
there
yeah.
with unique powers.
I was thinking of Andy as well. So yeah, um, like I said, generic MC is all right as long as other elements around them are fleshed out a bit more. And maybe the reason he's so dumb is because he gets hit on the head by a hammer all the time and he gets punched. So I think he's got a little bit of brain damage over the years.
Yeah, that's also probably a fair point. Yeah, so he just takes a couple hammers to the face, and everyone's freaking out about that because that's not normal for
Yeah.
humans.
Yeah. And even the boss guy is freaking out, like, "What the hell? You're just a human." And you say that joke before about them, like, "Yeah, I don't get it either." Was your funniest joke? This is my funniest joke, where you have the guys are like, "Get him, boss! Kill him, boss!" And then you have just this one guy off to the side, and then you have these other guy. Yeah, you have this one guy off to the side saying, "That human ain't half bad though," and it's like, "Shh, idiot! Like, don't you dare say that in front of the boss."
Yep. I mean, everyone was just getting so into this fight.
Yeah, and then I'm going, "Not bad, human. Quit it, you moron." So yeah,
I have
we
a
have
feeling that, considering we're seeing that after this fight, because of course our MC is going to win. That's how it works. But I think these guys are going to follow our MC or
yeah,
a big sis by
yeah.
indirect
Oh
relation.
yeah, oh yeah. That is probably going to be the downfall of the boss guy. Like, everyone is going to get onto Morrow's side, and then just one punch is going to knock the boss out at that point.
It could be actually because 10 showed us that faith in the Ayashimon is really what strengthens them.
Yeah,
So it could be that by having like this collection of people who believe in him makes him strong, and losing that makes him weak. In fact, it actually kind of explains almost the last page where he gets a sucker punch. I thought of it more of as a distraction, but if more people are turning against him, maybe that's how he's losing the fight now.
yeah.
Hmm.
That's I think what's going to be coming of it eventually. But we have the big sister cheering on Moro because obviously she's going to do that. But of course, hers is not reaching it at all because they have everyone else going, go boss, go, no, not bad human, no, yeah, rah, 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 rah. And then we have big sister saying to Ten, like, why aren't you cheering Moro on? Why are you just twiddling your thumbs? Before Ten says that he doesn't have the right to do that, and then Big Sis says, "Okay, then we'll cheer your boss on." And Ten's like, "What? You're okay with that?" Because she basically doesn't care like what Ten actually does at this point.
Nope, not in the least. And I mean, that's kind of makes sense because right now Ten's not necessarily loyal to them. So I think afterwards she might care, but right now she's just like Yakuza. They just kind of stick and believe in something and go for it. I don't know. They're trying to make it all noble, but in my opinion, it's kind of just a little bit cheesy line.
Yeah, it's a bit.
Where it was just like believe in something and see it through.
Believe it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So after some encouragement, we have Ten basically telling Maru to beat him up, which actually we pretty much answered our question because you see Maru doing the fatal blow on the last panel to the boss character.
I don't know if it's a fatal blow, but it's at least a punch.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the fight's over just yet.
Well, we'll see in the next chapter. So yeah, overall, pretty okay.
Like, okay, all these fights have ended with him doing like a signature move and giving it some stupid name, but it's just a giant punch. So yeah, I'm just saying we need to see that again.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
What do you think this punch is going to be?
Oh my god. Okay, so we had a father-son Kamehameha, then we had like his super ultimate attack. My guess, if they followed up on the last joke, would be, okay, last time I used my super ultimate attack, the name was too big, so I'm going to shorten it down. So he's going to give the name some kind of acronym, just some goofy acronym that's going to stand for something dumb. That's my prediction.
Or maybe,
and then of course he's going to explode into money.
Yeah, or maybe it'll just be a Saitama serious punch.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I could just do that. Serious punch. Just like think of something simple and go with Saitama. That could work.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty good chapter, pretty solid chapter. Just wanted to know a bit more about this world and a bit more about how these ritual jewels will come out. Now that I've said ritual jewel, they have to do a Yu-Gi-Oh joke at some point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was Ayashimon. So we can cross.
I'll just make a little note for the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Next series to talk about. If we want to go with something simple, because I usually like to do the simple series first to get them out of the way, we could do Blue Box next if you read that.
Yeah, we'll do Blue Box. So
okay, so yeah, just skip Blue Box. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so Blue Box. So this chapter follows from the last one with the firework invitation, and this time Taki invited, who I believe was your favorite character of the series. What's his name? I think he went down the line a bit. Just pull it out because I know she says it. Oh yeah, Kyo.
Yeah,
that's yeah. Yeah, so Kyo's like, oh, okay, we're going to the fireworks thing. And yeah, he said there's time for the university, which again, I'm more interested in the university practice, but we'll get that to the end.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But we have Kyo basically basically saying what the audience is saying, that only reason Hina didn't invite anyone is because she just wanted it to be the two of them, and just inviting him to the fireworks festival is probably a major step for her. But if she was going to go that far, she should have been more direct. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, they can be pretty awkward at times. He basically took the words right out of our mouths with that.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the out reader's point of view here, trying to like
Yeah,
manage all this nonsense while figuring out where people are going. Again, I hope he stays that way and doesn't get involved in the romantic entanglements. Like I said before, I'm not huge into romance, and I think this series kind of like points out a lot of why. Because even like when Hina's talking here with her friend, where she's like, I did invite him, but he thinks we're going as a group. And then her friend's like, okay, then just tell him you want to go one on one. He's like, nope, too much. That's too much. The series can't go that far yet.
no, it can't.
But that's kind of stuff just bugs me. I mean, I get the reason she doesn't want the rejection, but at the same time, it's also like it's reasons like this that the series can't progress.
Yeah, but I think as well, what the best friend could have actually said, like, well, just say to him, and if he turns you down, so what? You're like, this could be easily solved by them saying, like, you're both high school students. If he turns you down, so what? Move on.
I mean, that's probably easier for us to say outside of high school than for these teenagers with their hormonal brains, but
Oh,
still, it's kind of like one of those things where, actually, even as like a high schooler, I was like, I found these stories a little cringe in that sense. But I think my favorite part is that even Hina's friend is aware of who she's crushing on. Like this is the typical everyone knows who likes who.
yeah,
This is not a secret.
yeah. Everyone knows who likes who, except the people who
Except the dense main character.
yeah,
Who knows
except the
not-
people who know who are supposed to know.
Well, that's the thing. Like China, let's see, what's her name? Shinatsu, I believe.
Yeah.
Chinatsu, like she may or she is not aware of Taiki's feelings, but is aware of Chozo's feelings, and then Mina Chozo, like she knows about their relationship, but yeah, she basically knows most of it except her own. And Taiki doesn't know Jack because he's the main character of the series, and male leads can never know anything.
Yeah. Which again, I feel like if another romance series came out, I feel like they would have to. I feel like they could take a risk. I'd actually be like, hey, the MC does know, so yeah, I'm going to be in a relationship with them, and just see where it goes from there. Like, don't.
Yeah,
I was just thinking about what I was going to say. Don't go down this cliche road of like, oh, will they get? Because we know they're going to get together in the end. So just be like, hey, be together, see how it works out, and if it doesn't work out, doesn't work out.
Yep, I mean that's one thing with Yozakura. At least they went out, and like with Witch Watch, for example, which you could argue is another series that has this. Number one, I think one benefit is the fact that they don't have like too many romantic rivals or anything, because that's like part of what adds to all this nonsense. And two, the characters, it kind of makes sense how they did address the fact that it'd be really awkward at home. And to be fair, with Chinatsu's relationship, I can kind of see that, but with Chozo's, it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
So
I think she's been reading too many manga where the best friend does not win in the end.
I mean, that is fair. So that's almost more reason for her to just win, just so we can have a childhood friend win. Because even in We Never Learned, where it looked like the childhood friend was going to win, we actually just got like routes for everybody. Which, to be fair, I really liked. I think that series, for all its faults, it should be remembered as a series that had multiple routes. Because I don't think know any other series that does that.
Yeah, that author knew what we wanted and was like, okay, if you want this to be the canon ending, it could be the canon ending. If you want this end to be the canon ending, it could be the canon ending. So everybody is happy.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like some routes are better than others, but then we would have to talk about those. So
Yeah, I agree. Some of them were better than others, but hey,
Most of them are decent.
my favorite route got one of the better endings, I would say.
Yeah, I think mine was pretty decent as a whole.
Actually, I'll ask like what was your route ending for We Never Learn?
Right. So like my top one was
Like,
the
uh,
sensei, and then I think hers was like an okay route to go down. Um, and then the other one I really liked was Ogata's. I actually thought she had like one of the weakest routes though.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, Ogata's was my least favorite, but my favorite was the was uh Asume's the senpai.
Yeah, she had like one of the best routes. I mean, I wasn't a fan of her character for a large part, but
Oh,
her
I
route
love
was amazing.
oh I loved her character. I loved how she was basically just a troll and she just played it up.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always think that people who like mess around like that usually screw themselves over.
Yeah, but not in
But
this case. Not in this
yeah,
case.
yeah, I really enjoyed her route though. It was like probably the best route.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Blue Box. So they're
Yeah.
still talking about the fireworks festival, and we have
Yeah. And then we have like with Chinatsu playing basketball. This felt a little awkward in this chapter for me because I mean the whole thing was just to kind of remind us she's going to the festival
yeah,
and that she's trying to avoid any relationships right now. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but also I don't know. I care so little about her character right now.
yeah, yeah.
Which I mean, I felt all really bad for her when the basketball tournament was happening, but right now I just don't care about her. She's so boring as a character.
Yeah, just do something, girl. Do something.
Oh man, I mean, the best part about this interaction was just like the boys in the background, which they were just like they were just trying to like get themselves invited to the fireworks.
Yeah, yeah, but and also as well, I think they were kind of like probably thinking about like, oh, we know Chinatsu should be out there having a romance and she's not having any of it, and they're just like they're like boom, 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 banging their heads on the wall.
Oh man, it's too bad. But
Yeah,
yep, yeah, that's Janatsu. She's just doing what she's doing.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, I don't see what does Taki see in Chinatsu? That's what I want to know. What do you see in her, man?
I mean, the story's trying to sell us that what he likes about her is her determination and her fierce personality and stuff like that. But I don't know, like romances that are based on like admiration, like that, I don't know if it was ever going to last. But honestly, what I don't get is I think there are hints that Shinatsu likes Taki back, but I think we don't really know why.
I know. It's like,
Like at
uh,
least with Hina, like I mean, with Hina, there's slightly more justification. But what I didn't like about her is that it kind of comes out of nowhere. It's more like, oh, she didn't realize she had feelings until things got serious
yeah,
with Chinatsu, and I'm like, really?
I do not like that. I do not like that as well. Like, if it had been built up in, like, say, chapter one, like, if she was like, here's the thing: if Hina was clingy, like, not clingy, I wouldn't say, but more like she always put her arm around Taki whenever she saw him. She was always like, she was always giving him hugs whenever she saw him, and whenever they left her, giving him hugs. Like, she was very comfortable around him. Then I could be actually see her like, okay, yeah, she has feelings for him.
Yep. Yeah, they set her up as like the character who everyone thinks they're together, but they're just really good buds, which I actually like. I usually like it when people can show like characters of opposite genders like able to be good friends without romantic stuff, and we'll talk more about that with the different series.
Yeah.
But right now with Blue Box, it's just most of the romance I don't really like. With Hina's, at least though, I guess when she was struggling with mentally with what was going on with her competition and Taki helped out. That was at least I think more satisfying than like when Chinatsu just like helped Taki with like a cold he had or
Yeah.
something random like that.
Um, So yeah, they're basically saying, did you actually hope to go with Chinetsu? And him saying, yeah, I couldn't go with her. For one thing, the fireworks festival with 4 people. It'd be bad if someone were to see us. Like,
And that's fair. Yeah.
yeah, that's fair. And even if he were, even if he were to ask her, pretty sure she'd turn him down. But again, just go and ask her, like, hey, do you want to go to the fireworks festival together? And she says no. It's like, okay, I'll go. I'll just go with Hina then. Okay, fine. There we go. Problem solved right there.
Yeah, but I mean, at least give Taki this. She did say, if I think I forgot exactly what she said, but she said that they probably shouldn't get too close.
Yeah, I
So I
know.
will at least admit he's at least picking up on some messages for her saying to not get together. So I can at least appreciate that much. But I also know that this is all just setting up for just some really dumb drama when the festival happens. Like they're going to be together. Ryo's going to do his best to get them alone. And then Shinatsu's going to show up. It's going to get awkward and feelings will get hurt. It's funny. The thing with Blue Box for me and why I was very hesitant to start is a lot of this I feel like I can see coming.
Yeah,
Like, but yeah. So, but let's keep going. I think we're still on page 12. Taki's just feeling bad about himself, and then Hina is still being self-destructive and saying you should ask her out. And I'm like, Hina, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? You literally are like your own worst enemy. And I don't even understand what she's talking about here in page 15 when she's like,
page. Yeah. Oh, all
when
right.
she's
I was
like,
I
if you're
was on.
scared. Oh,
Yeah, I was on 12 and 13 then. But yeah, um,
oh yeah.
can't.
Well, basically, then Taki sees Hina, tries to avoid her, and then uh, Hina like gives him a speech. That's what's going on. And so then Hina's like saying, it's like, oh, being able to care for other people's feelings as well as your own while staying positive. And that's what she likes about Taki. And I'm like, when has Taki ever done that? When has Taki ever been like, okay, someone's hurt, I'm hurt, but I'm going to take care of both of our emotional problems and then
Yeah,
be
I have no
positive?
idea what she's talking about.
Like
Um,
the closest thing I thought of was when she motivated her to keep going with her competition, but I that had nothing to that has nothing to do with what she's saying. This is a
yeah,
very confusing line. It's really good art, but it's very confusing
yeah,
dialogue.
it's very confusing because I don't get it either as well. Um, so yeah, we have Hina saying that Tucky is so cool, hiding from her and avoiding her. It's just plain uncool. And yeah, I think even Taki is like, yeah, what was up with that? Because he actually literally says, "What's up with her?"
Yep. And that's supposed to be like our little, oh, Taki is starting to recognize something that his shonen protagonist brain is eventually going to
Yeah,
develop into romance.
yeah. But now we get to the point where I think
Yeah, we finally get to.
yeah, you've probably been looking forward to this.
Yep. So, yeah, we meet Haru. Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah,
Uh, he, um, he basically invited Taki to a university game. And I'm really looking forward to this because, like, this series, I think, is like the romance drawing is nice, but the sports drawing and games are like where I get really hyped and excited. 'Cause so far, story wise, like the biggest things that like really got me was like when Taki lost the tournament, or seeing all the training going on, more so than any of the romance happening. So this university game is going to be really cool.
yeah, and we've got this character Hoyodo. Uh, I think we've seen this character before, or
Yeah, I
haven't we?
think I want to say he was the national champion we saw, right?
Oh
That
yeah,
who
yeah,
won the
yeah,
prefecture.
yeah. He was, yeah. So it looks like we're getting a bit of a rematch sort of things coming up in the
Yeah,
next
at the very
chapter.
least, we're going to see more of their techniques, and like it'll be. Um, I mean, I guess for Haru or for sorry Taki, it's just going to be more okay. I'm learning from my senpais. While for Haru, it's going to be this is what I have to look forward to in the upcoming competition. And yeah,
Yeah,
this is going to be pretty exciting match. But I also kind of like how in this case the main character, he's not going to be like, okay, I'm going to face you in nationals. That's not going to happen until next year. I'm hoping that the other Hido's Kohai, I forgot his name, But there was another student at the tournament match that was also that I want to learn more about. I hope he's here too.
Yeah, he's probably in. It's probably going to be like another double match, like double badminton match.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Some
So
doubles.
yeah, Blue Box. Not the best chapter this week, but
Nope.
ending on a cliffhanger that's got us pretty excited.
Yep. That would be accurate.
Yeah.
So that's blue box. I'm just gonna make a note here. To do 105. Okay. So what do you want to do next? Because I think we talked about most of the like what I call the slower series that we read.
Yeah. I think what we could talk about now is My Hero Academia, because I really want to talk about it.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, pull that up.
Yeah, we'll do. Let me just sort it out. My Hero Academia.
Mhm. All right.
All right.
So, first thing I just want to say before we talk chapter is I love this color page. It is amazing. This
Oh
is like
yeah.
I have to like look at the other color pages Horikoshi's done, but this might be one of my favorites just off the
Oh my god.
bat.
Oh my god.
So beautiful.
I've just realized what it is. It's
Yeah, it's a
like
popularity poll.
no, it's not that. But if you look at the color page, it's representing the Chinese zodiac.
Wait, is it? Hey, let me
Yeah,
see.
because you got
Ram, eagle, horse, bird,
so
turtle. Oh, wait, was there a turtle? Okay, I guess so. I guess there's a cat there at the end, like the 13
yeah,
zodiac.
yeah,
I feel like we're missing like an ox and like a rat and a couple other animals,
and
honestly.
a snake. We're missing the snake.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's exactly it, but it could be. I just thought they were just really cool animals.
Yeah.
But
Um.
yeah, but I love this color page. It looks beautiful.
Yeah. So I think
I also like how a movie character just randomly gets to be in the poll. The Japanese fans are so weird to me sometimes, like who
I
they
know,
decide
I
is the
know.
most popular.
A lot of people were like question like, why is there a movie character in here?
Yeah, and there's like Present Mike, who's cool, but I don't think he's done much. Ida, who, at least in the recent chapters, hasn't been as prominent. I
Yeah.
think my favorite thing is Shinzo, who I love a lot, and he's in the
Oh,
top 10, despite having not been in a chapter since the A-B class tournament.
no. He was yeah, he was in the war arc. He
He
was in the
was?
war.
I don't remember, honestly.
Let me go back and actually Shinzo
I can look in the
Shinzo.
wiki.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do a good job.
I'm looking at the wiki. I'm looking at the wiki. So chapter appearances.
Oh, cool. You have it already pulled up. Go ahead.
Uh, so he was mentioned in Deku versus Class 1A, that
Yeah,
chapter. Uh,
he was mentioned, right?
he did appear in the war arc, but he didn't say anything. So he appeared in one chapter in the war arc, but didn't
Oh,
say
okay. So he
anything.
got a background role. Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I guess there's that. But then I'm guessing the last time he's actually been doing.
yeah. Looking at it, it was the joint training arc.
Yep, exactly. So he still appeared in the top 10, which I'm okay with because I like him. But God, the Japanese fans are hilarious. They don't
Yeah.
make any sense.
Hey. There's a character in One Piece who hasn't done much. Who hasn't done much in like forever, and he still gets into the top 10 for some reason.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Yeah. But yeah,
But yeah,
uh,
let's get into the
I
chat.
get. Actually, I want to just to say,
Oh,
I guess some of these are meant to be representations of the characters themselves, because you got I saw it there with a cat, which is pretty obvious because he's a fan of cats.
yep. And yeah, Aizawa was, by the way, one of my favorites in the series. And then we have like
So,
Kirishima with the turtle,
so I guess
and
that's
Ida
because
with the horse, very fast. Hawks
yeah,
with the hawk, obviously.
yeah. Like Deku with the ram. Like, what does that
Yeah,
have to do with Deku?
I don't know. He punches things or kicks things. That might be something.
I guess because he has all those abilities, so it's kind of like stored up, kind of like wool. So I
It is
guess that
kind of weird just because like rams and just because like the way their eyes are, if you look at it, have always been associated with like demons and devils. So it's a very interesting animal to associate with Deku.
yeah.
And then we
We
have
have
Present Mike with the bird, a parrot. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Parrots.
oh yeah, parrots. We have Shinzo with another cat.
Yeah, there's
I
like a
get
lot of cats, but I
I
guess
get
Aizawa, Shinzo are just both cat people. That makes sense.
I guess it's because I saw it sort of like Shinzo's mentor, so I guess
Yeah,
that kind of makes sense. We have Todoroki with the snow leopard.
snow, which winters, I guess. So
Yeah.
that kind of works, I guess.
And then
Uh,
obviously Bakugo with a wolf. That is
mhm.
the most obvious sense.
Yep. Yeah, it was either
Maybe
gonna be like a
maybe
wolf or a lion.
maybe this is like Horikoshi saying like if the characters were animals, this is what animals they be.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
Yeah. So yeah, getting into the chapter properly. So we have basically Bakugo telling Deku about how his new cluster upgrade actually works, um, which is basically he doesn't just send out one blast. He saves it up to create a barrage of bombs, kind of like a cluster bomb. Like, have you ever played Worms?
I haven't played it, but I've seen it.
Yeah. So there's like the cluster bomb in there where where you'll throw the bomb and then it'll explode, and then there'll be like little pellets coming out of it that make other explosions. So it's
Yeah,
kind of,
seems like that's what's happening here.
yeah, kind of similar to what Bakugo's doing here. And he does mention that and it takes a while for him to heat up enough, so that's why he's got the winter coat on, because overheating drains him so fast. So it's a choice he's got to make about that. Uh,
Yep.
yeah,
And so then we go into Todoroki, who, I mean, his is pretty straightforward. He's just trying to find a balance between ice and heat. So it's kind of continuing that.
yeah. Which the obvious solution to that is water.
I mean, I guess so. Well, he's basically finding a tech way to fight Dabi, essentially.
Yeah.
And
Well, hey,
then,
water. Like I'm saying, water against Dobby's fire. Create some like either warm or cold water depending on what he wants to do.
yeah, but I think right now he's developing some kind of resistance.
Yeah.
Um,
Or maybe he could create like a flame shield, because Dobby does have a weak constitution,
he does,
and
yeah.
and he does get in danger of overheating. So what that might actually work, like if he does create like a warm water technique, because then not only is he solving one problem, he's solving another problem, because the water would be hot, so that Darby would overheat, and also it would put the flames out.
Yeah, I could see that. We'll see what his technique is. It'll be fun to see. Basically, those are the only two characters that really we get to see a technique for. The rest is the next thing we just get into kind of an explanation of what the circumstances that the villains have advantage over them, and how the heroes are just kind of basically preparing for the worst. Because right now they're kind of on the losing end of things.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's basically what happens. And then we cut away to what I think is
Oh yeah, I guess the last thing I'll just say is like Deku
yeah.
has an afro, which is very funny. They do a lot of fun
Oh,
stuff with it. Just
oh yeah,
comedic
he has an
relief.
afro. I think that yeah, he probably got that from the cluster attack from Bakugo.
Yeah, Bakugo. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Now we cut away to Hagakure, who everyone thought was going to be the traitor because of that ending of that last chapter. But this chapter, we kind of have to admit, no, she's not the traitor. Um,
It
the
was Ioma.
it was Yuga Ayama, but
Yeah.
like I did what because I saw the spoilers before it came out, because it was kind of
Yeah,
hard
and so did I.
it was kind of hard not to see them and be like, oh, it was Ayama all along.
Yeah,
So
and I mean that's one thing with MHA. I feel like this series is kind of hard. Like I feel like this. I don't know if this chapter necessarily have hit harder, but the getting it a little spoiled, it just kind of lessens the impact to some extent. So if I'm not like super hyped on this, that might be partially why.
Yeah, and
But I
here's
did want to say with the Invisible Girl, Kagure,
yeah.
the fact she was in the woods, not because she was like necessarily suspicious. She just, I guess, she was just like going to check up on them. So
I
I don't
guess
know. I
so.
felt like this was just kind of a weird way for. I mean, it Horikoshi's way of just like trying to dupe us into thinking it, and then her actually just being here just because. Oh man, I'm worried about my friend. I'm gonna go see how he's doing. I don't know. It feels like
May,
just weird.
maybe she knew all along that Ayama was the traitor.
Based on her inner dialogue, it doesn't seem like it.
Uh, oh, uh,
She's
oh,
like, ever
oh,
since
oh,
all this
yeah,
stuff, you've been.
oh, yeah, yeah. She does say it. Yeah, later in the chapter, I remembered. Uh, I here's here's the thing. It would have. I would have been all right if it was both Ayama and Hagakure. Like if there was two traitors rather than just one traitor.
Yeah, some people had considered that a possibility when the Raws came out.
Yeah,
And yeah, that would have been interesting. But this is kind of more what I was expecting.
yeah. Um, and
Because
going
like I
back
was
to
expecting the last one to be like a fake out because this a fake outs happened before. Interestingly enough, with Aoyama.
yeah.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, what because I did put it in so I might as well just say my thoughts on it as a whole because
go ahead.
I did put it in like the Discord server. Like, here's what it's not the fact that I don't I'm not against Ayama being the traitor. Is that I don't think there was enough build up to him being the traitor. That's the problem.
So what I'll say is I'm kind of in agreement with you, but I will say some MHA fans have pointed out there were hints, and I think one of the best was during the tournament, the licensing tournament that they had. There actually were some evidence there, and then of course in this chapter we get some moments like we also have like moments, smaller moments, like when Dabi first came to the forest to attack them, like Yuga was hiding behind the bushes because but Dabi found him but didn't do anything to him because of course that he was on their side. He was their mole. So
Oh,
there
oh, yeah, yeah.
I can send you some stuff. Like people have been posting things, and there's actually some cool things. Like
Okay,
Hayama, like he tried to like sacrifice himself during a tournament for that license tournament, but then that was going to be his way out. But then since this class came through for him, he's like, well, I guess I have to keep playing this role. And the way he's like looks there, I'm like, okay, actually, that's a fair statement. Even his name, see her name, which was really stupid. Like have to keep sparkling or something.
never stop sparkling.
Yeah, never stop sparkling. Yeah, that's his way of saying I have to keep I have to keep sparkling. I have to keep using this quirk that was given to me because if I don't, my parents are dead.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
So,
spoilers. Ayama was quirkless. Ayama was
yeah.
quirkless, just
Well,
like
that's
Deku.
why are we saying spoilers right now? Like we're talking
I,
about the chapter.
I know what people will probably say, like, "Oh, I've not read the chapter, and you're talking about My Hero Academia. I've not got to
That
that
doesn't
part
even
yet."
make sense. We've been talking about my hero for a while.
Yeah, but yeah, Ayama was quirkless, and All for One gave him a quirk.
Yeah, and
Um,
I will admit the other thing that's nice about that is I always thought the idea of like quirkless people in quirk society was very underused, despite our main character being exactly that.
yeah,
So bringing that back and having him be like a parallel to Deku is really nice.
yeah.
Um,
But
but my big thought. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, it could have been built up so much better. Like this whole idea that Ayama was quirkless. Uh, he could have said a line to Deku at some point by saying it could
That's
have
the
just
thing.
been
He did though. If you remember, like the one arc where we really got to know him, he told Deku, "You and I are very alike." At the time,
oh
he played it off like, "Oh, it's because we both struggle with our quirks," but no,
oh
that was just yeah.
oh
So there
yeah
was build up.
Yeah, but I think what would have made it a little bit more obvious for me is that, or a little bit more like, okay, this might be where he's going. Is that if Ayama said, when I was little, I was weak and somebody who people didn't want to associate with, because
We'd have to go back to his chapters. He may have said something like that, as
yeah,
far as
yeah,
I know.
oh, he might have said that, but I would, but he probably could have said
Yeah.
something like, people didn't want to associate with me because I was different from everyone else. Having my quirk helped me a lot. So that would have probably helped me to be like, okay, yeah, this is fairly obvious that Ayame is the trait, or maybe just have a scene that beforehand of his parents saying to him like, we have you saying that Ayama Yuga, you have to get stronger and not let him get to you, especially since he is no longer in the picture. Like referring to All For One after the battle with All Might.
Yeah, I mean, actually, at the time, he says, Ayama says in this chapter that he thought that was the moment where he would be free because All For One was put into jail. So, from his perspective, he thought All For One was gone for good at that point in time.
Okay, fair enough.
So here's what I want to say. I think that the My Hero fan base has, I think, done a good job to prove to me that there were hints for this, and it was pretty well established, and it was done in a way where I wouldn't have predicted it, and that's all well and good, and I think that's nice. But what's kind of bothers me is, number one, this is kind of the similar problem with William in Black Clover. If you remember, in Black Clover, there was a time where Yami was like, "Hey, I saw the head, the elf, or not the elf, the midnight enemy that we're fighting, and they looked similar to you, except you wear a mask. So can you take your mask off for me?" And then William did, and then Yami noticed the scar. He's like, "Oh, it's not you." But then we learned, of course, it was William. His scar just kind of disappears when Patrick takes over. And I remember at the time I was thinking, okay, well, that's kind of ridiculous. And Ioma is kind of a similar situation where back in that chapter, uh, when he laid out some cheese in front of Deku's window that said, wait, I think it was in this chapter too. There was a picture where he said, "I know what's going on with you." Was that this chapter?
No,
Okay, I don't think he showed it here, but yeah, I probably should have shared this stuff with you before. I bookmarked some of it. Actually, yeah, oh yeah, no, last page 17. Page 17, like the cheese pieces, I know.
Oh,
He put that outside Deku's window. And again, at the time, he played it off as a joke of some kind. But now we know what he knew. And this is a similar situation where there were the obvious hints thrown in our face, and then it was completely played off. And now they're saying, "Oh yeah, no, all those hints were legit."
no,
So
I don't think all those hints were legit. Like if
no,
it
they
was,
were, because in this
oh,
chapter we saw them. They played it back for a reason.
oh right,
Like,
yeah, of course.
because like look at the last page. Like the top panel says, "I always wanted to feel equal." That was his speech to Ida, where he was
Oh,
saying
oh yeah, yes. So okay, I get you.
yeah, and the last thing was the "I know." So there were hints, but the way it was delivered, it was similar to William. I wasn't a huge fan of, because it kind of made it feel like, "Oh yeah, you were on the right track the first time."
Yeah,
And the second reason I don't like that is, well, the second reason I'm not super into this is just because I feel like they should have developed his friendship with Deku a bit more.
yeah,
Because I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
we would have felt, there were people, I will admit, there are My Hero fans that are very like emotionally distraught at this reveal. So there are fans of this character out there that really resonated with this story. So I don't want to take that away from you guys. But for me, at least, he wasn't a character where I felt like they did too much of. And the arc where he did do things was like the school festival arc, which I'm not a huge fan of outside of Gentle Criminal himself. So that's kind of my issue with this. I felt like if I was more attached to Ioma, I would have felt something here. Because like in Class 1A, I'm not attached to most of the characters except for maybe like Kirishima and like Todoroki, Bakugo, and even Ida, Noraka, and Momo. But Ioma, I barely felt anything for. On
Yeah,
the other hand, the reason I bring up William, also besides the fact that the reveal is played in a similar I didn't like, is I really started to like William a lot more as a character after the Elf arc, where they really worked on his redemption. So I feel like this is a good chance for me to like really emotionally invest myself into Ioma as a character, because then I think this will have played out well.
yeah,
So I think this reveal by itself is not super great, kind of like with the Patchy reveal in Black Clover. But here, in My Hero, I think in a similar fashion, if we redeem Ioma, we really start to get to know him. I think this can actually play off well. This is a character we really didn't get to spend time with, but now we will. I just wish it wasn't so close to the end of the story.
yeah. Like, okay, here's what I would have done to like make it more. It's like you remember the scene at the end of I think it was the entrance exam where um Deku says to Bakugo, "Someone gave me this quirk." You could have had you could have had Ayama like just over here that and be like no, or doesn't even have to show Ayama. You could have just like shown like just a lip saying he's just like me. Like
Well, I mean, he did say that to Deku, to
no,
be
no,
fair. So,
yeah, but like at the beginning of the series, like you just see the lips, like he's just like me, and then you get
well,
that
he was
moment,
the
like
first person, I think. Well, not the first person, but like before they did the robot fighting thingy in the
yeah,
entrance exam,
he was the
he
first
was
one.
there.
Yeah, but
I don't
uh,
remember if he said anything that would give anything away. I don't
no,
remember.
I don't think he did. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, you just have the lips, and you just have the lips. You don't see like anything, just the lips, and it's like he's just like me. And then you have to see later with I am a Saint Deku, like you and me, we're alike in more ways than one. And then Deku's like, "What do you mean by that?" It's like just saying, and then he goes away. Like
Well,
that's
I mean, he did play it off, like I said in the last arc. So
yeah.
I think you kind of wish it was more obvious. I'm kind of glad it wasn't too
I'm
obvious.
not saying that I kind of wish it was more. I just say like maybe have a few little extra clues in there, maybe, but
Maybe
not.
some more clues would have helped, but I think it's not the clues that make it feel like not as satisfying for you and me. It's the character. I feel like if we spent more time with Ayoma, he did more
Yeah.
missions with Deku, then we would have felt like, and then this chapter where we would have seen those hints and we would have thought about those times he did things.
Oh,
He,
oh, oh. I'm just gonna say now. What if Ayama was one of the ones who went to rescue Bakugo?
wait, I forgot. Was he there?
He
I don't know.
wasn't.
He wasn't.
It wasn't. It was Kirishima, Ida, Momo,
Yeah,
Todo.
yeah, no, I can see that. Like if they said something about a rescue mission, yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Or maybe if Ayama had said like they were talking about the rescue mission and Ayama was against that, like don't go after these guys.
Yeah, I mean that would be good, but I think again that would just be another like smaller hint. I
Yeah,
don't. I think it would. We emotionally would still be in the same place here.
yeah, yeah. Or like I was saying, like I know I kind of like want a few more hints, but like if Ayama was there, it was there in Camino, and all for one saw him, and it was just had this stare off with each other.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I also am just gonna look up some like of the evidence that was posted to me about him being the traitor that I liked, just because I think a lot of this is new for you. So
Yeah,
maybe you'd like to see.
it's probably new for me, and I actually
Sounds
want to.
good.
Let me just see, like, how many chapters has he actually been in? I Yama.
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna send you some stuff on Discord. You can look at it at your own time. You don't have to look at it now.
yeah.
This is just kind of the stuff I was saying. And then I think there was like a one really good thread by Vocal Pineapple. Shout out to him.
yeah. Shout out to Focal Pineapple. Um,
But yes, so like we kind of were going all over with our thoughts about him, but like basically this chapter is him pleading with his parents and then pleading with Deku and him kind of just telling us he didn't have a quirk.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
So that's kind of like what happened like in the chapter itself. And then of course Deku, he himself didn't seem like too upset at him. He seemed more concerned. But now we have like the chance for for Ayama to act as a potential double agent or something.
Oh yeah, that might actually be interesting. And
Because there's another series I read called Blue Exorcist, and this isn't really a spoiler because I'm not going to say who, but we learned there's a traitor in the group, and then he gets to play the double agent role. And he went from being a character who I'm like, I don't hear the comic relief character. I don't care about you, to being like one of my favorite characters in the series, just from that alone.
yeah,
Oh
but
man, there's a lot.
yeah, but I feel like what you've just said will make sense because I don't think Deku has any hard feelings for Ayama, um, because it says that um, Hagakure just told me what she heard, and he probably heard that that Ayama got the quirk from All for One, and is now actually terrified of him. And I think it's gonna be be um, be a case of like what happened with Deku and Todoroki in the tournament arc where he says to Ayama, it's your quirk now. It's not All for Ones. You do what you want with it.
That actually would be a great parallel. Actually, I'm kind of hoping then Todoroki will come in and say that, because then that proves that his lesson really stuck with Deku's speech really stuck with him. That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the reveal itself wasn't great, but I think what they can do with it now could be
Yeah.
awesome. Which
Yeah.
I just hope they don't
Because
spoil me.
yeah, because Deku doesn't see. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell with his face, like what he's actually thinking.
Yeah, I mean, he looks kind of hurt, but also kind of scared for his friend. Because he
Yeah,
says, "You've been looking gloomy, so lately I thought something was wrong, came looking for you." So I don't think Deku's going to be like, "Oh my God, how could you betray me? How could you put all these people in danger?" Deku's not that kind of character. So
no,
I'm pretty sure he's going to go the sympathetic route.
yeah,
But then
and also as well, Ayama, did Ayama help in bringing Deku back?
I think so. He said in that moment, only I was silent. Because remember, like a lot of characters gave speeches, but people mentioned that some characters didn't say anything. So I think that was like another hint.
Yeah,
But
but uh, yeah, Deku versus class 1A. So yeah, he was there helping to bring Deku back. So maybe that will be brought up like you helped me to come back to my senses. So now I've got to help you come to your senses.
yeah, I also feel bad for his parents. Like they
Yeah,
did something really stupid, and now
yeah,
they're in like life trouble. But
uh,
yeah, also I guess like we kind of didn't bring this one up yet, but All for One gave Yuga the stupidest quirk ever.
oh yes, he did.
You give your main spy. It's like, okay, I don't want people to know you're a spy, so I'm just gonna give you this weak quirk, so like you can't do nothing. Oh my god! Like it's a quirk you can't even use without equipment. That's the kind of quirk he was given.
Yeah.
That is so
I,
dumb.
no, I think that's actually a good thing. It's like, okay, I want you to be a spy, but I want you to know that you are not going to get any better than me. So I'm gonna hinder you as well to keep you in line.
I guess it makes sense from that perspective. But one thing I like to like with the Hakagure theory, and I will say I do like Yuga much better than Hakagure as a traitor. Yuga, he is like, sorry, I mean Hakagure, her quirk actually made sense for being a spy.
Yeah,
So Yuga's quirk, it's just kind of, I'm surprised he figured he would get into the school
yeah.
with laser beam.
Yeah, and again,
So,
I do like Yuga being the traitor as well because
yeah, because we
it,
suggested like other trader options if Hakagure was like a red herring, and at the time I think you suggested like Jiro, who I wasn't really too hype on, and I suggested maybe Mina or something, but I think you guys are better than both of
yeah,
them.
because as well it makes sense because as we know he's very insecure about himself as well as a character. Even before it was revealed to be the traitor is very insecure person, and I feel like that kind of comes from the fact that he didn't have a quirk and he was just desperate. He was just desperate to belong as well, like they say.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So
It just turns
I'm
out that
looking
they
forward
got,
to. Oh,
yeah, it just turns out that they got a quote from the worst possible person.
yeah. Oh man, that's and I mean, I guess at the very least we have another. One good thing about this is we have another member of Class 1A who we didn't really care about getting some attention, so that reduces that list a bit.
Yeah.
Because now there's like another reason to care about this character.
Yeah. But again, some people are saying like some people on Twitter have been saying things like, "Oh, Horikoshi's only done this because people were against the idea of Hagakure being the traitor." So it's like I'm just going to throw a
That is true.
curveball.
It could have been like some evil genius on Horikoshi's part, where it's like I'm gonna like suggest someone really dumb and then show my reveal.
Could be, could be, couldn't be. Like we'll just never know. We'll just never know.
I'll just be honest, like the red
Yeah.
herring thing. I still not too thorough on how it was revealed, but I'm looking forward to it, and I do think it's a good choice as a
Yeah.
whole. I think I'm satisfied after having a good amount of thought put into it.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say as well, what was posted on the Discord server by Taya in Manga Spoilers. Horikoshi has his strengths, plot twists are just not one of them.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, what's interesting with that is one of the reasons I still had some faith in the trader reveal is because I remember with Dobby's reveal, like that was like the most obvious thing that everyone called so long ago that I thought once it got revealed in the manga, it would just be like, well, yeah, no, duh. And it would just be a lame chapter. But it was actually an amazing chapter.
Oh yeah, that
So
was definitely amazing moment.
I thought maybe the trader reveal would be similar, but not quite.
Not
And that's
quite.
okay. I think as a whole, Kamayata, if I'm saying your name wrong, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Plot twists are not the best in My Hero. It's not its strong suit, but that's okay. It's better for other series.
Yeah, but I put like as well like his build up on foreshadowing is a little bit weak on the weak side as well in my opinion, and it
I agree to it in a certain extent, but I feel like the bigger thing was more just the emotional investment because I
yeah.
feel like there was enough. And also, I think it just sucks that looking back, most of the foreshadowing was done in like some of the weakest arcs. Because I hated the provisional exam arc, I hated the school festival arc, and even the
Oh,
school entrance arc in season 1. I hated that too. All the weak arcs were where all these hints were dropped.
oh, I'm just gonna say it right now. If David ever sees that, like David, Party Jumps doesn't like the cultural festival arc in My Hero, which is an arc
Like I've talked to David about that. I mean, like I like the gentle criminal side of the arc. I hate the school festival part of the arc, and I
Okay.
almost so if you want to treat it like that, yes, I know that the folks over at Control Chaos love or enjoy the school festival stuff, slice of life more than some of the other stuff, but I still feel like that arc in general is kind of weak. Gentle Criminal is underrated as a whole, but the arc was still kind of a weak point compared to like Overhaul and like the My Villain stuff that came after, and basically everything after MPA.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, that was My Hero Academia, and looking forward to seeing what Deku's response to this reveal will be.
Yeah, and if you're right, and he brings up the Todoroki speech, I kind of hope Todoroki is the one who actually says that instead. But I want the other classmates to be supportive of this because that's I think one of the few things I like about Class 1A. But I'm kind of afraid how the adults will react or how the other citizens who are
Heroes.
safeguarding at the school will react because the tensions were very high when Deku was coming.
Yeah, and this is only going to make it worse.
Yep. So there's a lot of exciting things in My Hero. I have to say, like the series has been on a pretty good roll so far. I don't think this chapter is as good as some of the other chapters this week, which kind of sucks considering it's a big chapter. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So yeah, that was My Hero Academia. And we've already got 3 more after
Well,
this.
actually, wait, I just thought of something. There was
What?
that point in the story where we met the parents of the other students, right? Where we met
Yeah, yeah,
Deku's parents and
it
Bakugo's parents.
yeah. Well, we already knew who Deku's mum was anyway.
Oh, yeah, yeah. No, what I was saying was I was trying to think if we visited like just about everyone's families.
Yeah, we
Because if
did.
we did,
It was when they were going into the dorms, and All Might was going around to kind of get the parents on the side of like get the kids in the dorms.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, was there a moment there where we could have met Ioma's parents? If we did, because if we didn't, that would have been a perfect opportunity to give some hints.
Yeah. Hmm.
I really don't want to go back and look for it. I mean, it's my hero. It's
I
I'm
yeah.
not
I
too
don't want to go
concerned.
back. I don't want to go back and look for it. So hideout radar. Home no home visits. No, Ayama. I think it was yeah. Home visits was the chapter 96. Ayama was
Oh,
not in that
nice.
chapter. Ayama wasn't not in that chapter.
Well, there you go. There's a missed opportunity you could have. So there are, yeah, I will agree with you. There were points where they could have brought up a bit more, and they could have just done more with Ioma's character to hit this harder. Because I think even William, I was more emotionally invested in by the time he was revealed to be a traitor. But Ioma, not as much. But I'm looking forward to liking him down the line.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we got. Oh, I said 3 more, so it's 4 more. Sorry, I can't.
No, it's
I
okay.
can't. I can't count today.
It's not like we have a list. We're just kind of doing this in random order.
Yeah. So, which one do you want to have a crack at next?
Okay, I say so. We have like Witch Watch, Doctor Stone, Yozakura, and what else? What's the fourth?
Ayakashi Triangle.
Right. Let's do Ayakashi.
Yeah. So also as well, I just want to say, have you seen on Twitter what's going on at Jump Festa?
I know there's like a stage show going on. They're probably
Yeah,
gonna make some announcements.
it said
Hopefully,
it
Doctor Stone season 3.
yeah, it said something about Ayakashi. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't that. Yeah, here we go. Jump Festa 2022. Undead
Okay.
Unluck will have Sunshine, Isa Isakiya performing a Q&A corner with to- Tasuka and Lotteries, whatever that means. Ayakashi Triangle will showcase new illustrations by the author and reveal important information. So this is what's bugging the hell out of me. I don't think I have it up yet. The image. This
Yeah,
is
you
what's
got
bugging
it.
the hell out of me. That Ayakashi has been sort of like at the back of the magazine for some time, and yet they're still promoting it. So it's like, is it gonna get like stop teasing us with our emotions?
Yeah, I mean, with the author's tweet, I'm kind of safe to say that the series is going to be going for a bit, especially this chapter 2.
Yeah,
I'm feeling much better.
yeah, and like I said, this probably might be
It might
halfway
just be an
through.
anime announcement. Who knows?
Yeah, it might be an anime announcement, but like I said, this is probably the halfway point of this arc. I wouldn't say it's the halfway point of the series, but more like the halfway point of the arc, because I did say at some point that like Shadowme was like probably introduced in like chapter 55, and we're only
Yeah, you
on
saw
like
that.
we're only on like
71.
71, so we're only like 16 pages, 16 chapters into this arc with Shadowme.
Yeah, that would make sense, especially with what happens here.
Yeah. So anyway, getting
Definitely
into the
feels like a good transition point.
yeah. So anyway, getting into chapter proper, we have basically Shadow Maze explaining to everyone that the spirit of the Ayakashi medium is split into 3. One is inside of you, the other in me. So wait, what's the third?
I think it's Suzu herself.
No. It says one is inside of you, the other is me. Oh, oh,
Yeah, but based on
oh,
the image we see on page 2,
Oh
it
yeah,
shows.
yeah. One is inside of you, the other is me. Oh yeah. So it's Suzu, the mini Suzu, and then Shadow May herself. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I will
So
admit this kind of confused me a little. Because it's like, okay, so the Omakage exists as like part of the Ayakashi medium, as well as this other random part. Like they just randomly just happened.
They just randomly. What do you mean?
I mean, it's just like the splitting itself. It's not like anything really triggered it. It feels like it just kind of just it just
I
so
think
happens that there's three states that exist.
I think what triggered it was actually it's actually going to tie back into Shirogane and Mutsari, like when they did like that gender swapping jiu-jitsu, like it caused the split with Suzu as well.
But I thought those other splits happened earlier in time. Like the Omakage of Shadow May was like from a long time ago.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And
she's from a
then
long time ago.
and then
Yeah,
the mini me was like from like I don't know, past life or something. I forget.
yeah.
I forgot exactly.
There's gonna be a connection of some sorts.
Yeah. I mean they do draw a connection right here that with if they combined, they could fix
Uh,
Matsuri and
uh,
Shirogane.
yeah.
So they have set up the end game pretty well because, like, at this point, the idea is they need to combine in order for uh, everything to go back to normal.
Yeah, but at
If
the
it goes
same
back to normal.
but at the same time, it's like how much can we really because Matsuri says it best. You're just gonna try and take over Suzu's body, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty that's
But
pretty
she
much.
also makes a good point that Suzu had already rejected her. So, like, in the state that she's in, and like the reason that she's doing this is because Matsuri and Suzu have gotten so close that Shadow May can't properly combine with Suzu anymore.
So so you reckon it's more a case of like, okay, I've got to break down Suzu so much that when I get inside of her, I'm able to
Yep.
I'm able to regain control.
Yep, she's basically. It's kind of funny. What's essentially happening here is like in most series, like you have someone stopping the main couple from getting together. In our case, the couple already started confessing to one another,
Yeah,
and they decided to give a story reason as to why. So
yeah,
it's interesting, but also slightly irksome just because it's like, oh man, really? We're gonna add another romantic obstacle. And I thought at least it's plot relevant. I think
yeah,
I'm okay with this because it's like very plot relevant. And
yeah,
she actually feels like, she's sinister. Like this stopping this relationship isn't just gonna be like, oh, what if they don't get together? It's more like, oh, okay, the world is at risk if this happens.
yeah. But at the same time, it's kind of a double edged sword because because if they have these strong feelings for each other, Matsuri and Shirogane won't be able to go back to their original form. But at the same time, if they break up, then they will be able to go back. So it's kind of like a double edged sword in that sense. What do they do?
I thought you were going to say double-edged sword because what's applied at the end of this chapter that Shadow May could potentially reform with while staying with them
I
because
don't.
like her
Yeah,
plan could backfire and she could like rejoin with Susie, and I think that's what's probably going to happen.
uh, possibly, but I would like there to be another like twist on top of that.
So, I would agree with that. It almost seems too predictable. I could
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah, and one thing we could at least give Ayakosha credit for is that it's not too predictable because I don't think anyone predicted like, oh yeah, they were gonna like actually say, oh yeah, we love each other.
Oh yeah, that's definitely true. The series likes to have fun with that,
Yeah.
but it's not like the most genre-breaking story ever.
Oh no, I'm not gonna deny that. Like, I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
like
no, but I'm just
this
bringing
is.
that up because it could still go the standard route,
It could still
potentially.
go that standard route, but
But we'd rather it not.
Based on what Shirogane says in this chat at the end of this chapter as well, that is kind of like making me think like, is it going to go that route or is it not going to go down that route? Um,
Yeah,
but yeah. Anyway, so Shaname asks, don't they think they can get along? And of course, the only way they can think about getting along is that Shaname has to transfer into the school.
Yep. And before we get into there, I just kind of like a big joke that like Posuke, she was looking at Ryo's tentacles and he was like, I'm more scared of these tentacles than anything
Oh
going
yes,
on.
yeah, definitely.
That was just a fun joke I wanted to bring up. But yeah, now we're in the school, and I think what's nice about being in the school is we can focus on these other students because I think her name was Lulu or something.
It was Lucy.
Lucy, thank you.
Yeah,
Lucy is like back in frame, and so is their other friend
Yayo,
here,
Yayo,
Hirosaka.
Yayo.
Oh, Yayo. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yayo. She's back, and so we can hopefully get them into the mix
main,
of all the Sayakashi.
the main group. Yeah, maybe that will actually happen at some point. Maybe May will actually give them powers.
Maybe. You like, oh, that could be interesting. Like she could turn their friends against them, kind of
Yes,
thing.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like turns them against them.
Mm.
Like split the group apart, and actually possibly maybe she might actually be able to control them at some point, and they'll actually probably have to fight them. But after the fight, they'll still retain the powers. Like they can't go back to May.
Hmm. Okay, that sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. Um.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
would like that. I mean,
yeah.
it would be a little cliche because it's going to eventually revolve with power, friendship slash lewd antics, but it would still be fun. It would be
Oh,
fun.
oh yeah, definitely. So we have them. We have Shadow Bay entering the school, and Yayo, of course, figures it out right away. That is
Yeah,
it.
I guess that's nice because she has like more awakened to her powers more, so
Yeah.
she's
Uh,
resistant to this stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Cause. Oh yeah. Cause. Is it like did the
Yeah, they
Coronas?
said that Tanuki did this, so they probably had like some like Ayakashi help like put a spell sort of because the way Tanukis work is they're basically like an illusion based
Oh yeah.
creature,
Yeah. Yeah.
so they mess with people's heads. But Yayo's kind of resistant to it now,
Yeah.
just like
Um.
our Ayakashi medium and exorcist.
Yeah. And then we have. Uh. And then we have them basically giving a call back to Janyo, how he had the ability to be perceived by humans and slip into human society. Um, and then we have Mitsuri's mother basically conversing with an Ayakashi, saying that how did they convince Shadow to do this? And they just made it a suggestion. If she doesn't like the bond between Matsuri and Susu, she should break it, and she thought it was a good idea. But this this get this gets me like confused. Like Matsuri's mother, like why is she going along with this?
Yeah, I was wondering that too because basically she's like insisting that we have this incredible terrorist enemy just be in the school working with this, but for some reason she's okay with keeping Shadow Man under control like this. My only thought, and I don't, is like, and this seems almost like cruel, is that she isn't a huge fan of Suzu or that Matsuri and Suzu getting together. It almost makes me wonder if she's going along with this because she's okay with Shadow Man breaking them up.
Oh yeah. Oh
And that just seems, I don't know. I mean, there's like, you wouldn't do that to your child, would you? Put like a literal like terrorist monster creature.
uh,
Like
hey,
I don't
it's
like your
Mar.
girlfriend, so I'm gonna let her hang out with you
Hey,
until you stop liking your
hey,
girlfriend. I don't
it's
like.
it's manga. That's what manga does.
Yeah, I don't know. I would just. She's like I like Matsuru's mom. She's one of my favorite characters. I think I showed you that like in
Yeah,
my little
yeah,
tweet. But so if she does something like this, I don't know. That's kind of a little too far in my opinion. But the
yeah.
other thing is, the other reason I think she's okay with this is because, as we know, Rio's grandma is the principal of the
It's the
school. So this
principal.
school
Yeah,
is almost engineered to handle Ayakashi nonsense.
I
That's why
would,
Gakuru was in the school. That's why Rio's transferred. That's why all these Exorcist are students.
yeah,
You know,
I
that's
would,
not a coincidence. It's what the school is designed for.
yeah, I would love it if there was like a special rules and regulations related to Ayakashi attacks at the school.
Yeah, that we just don't know about. But yeah, I do like how they use a rabbit and a frog as like a phone call.
Yeah,
That was like little bars on them. Nice design.
yeah, nice design.
And
And
then
yeah,
this is the big chapter where, oh, sorry.
uh, oh, what were you going to say? Because I think you were going to say what I was going to say
Oh,
anyway.
probably. Yeah, this is the chapter we learn that Gaku is acting as a double agent.
Yes, yeah, yes. That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
So,
Great
all,
reveal. The best part of this chapter, honestly.
yeah, definitely. But aside from Shadow May, aside from Yayo mentioning Shadow May's huge personality,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was, yep, back in page 5.
yeah, back on page 5, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So Geico is a double agent, but at the same time, it makes me question: does he still have feelings for May?
That's what's interesting because, like, when Gaku first betrayed the team, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. I thought, okay, I wasn't sure if we built up your character enough for you to go totally evil on us. But now, as a double agent, one, it makes a lot more sense. But it also adds to that element of the character that we both like about him, where we don't fully know where his allegiances
Yeah.
lie.
Or
We
he
don't
might.
know.
Oh, I was just gonna say he might be a triple agent.
Yeah, could be. And I mean, like Matsu's mom says here, being a double agent's always a losing game. You can be eliminated by either side. So yeah, I do like the fact that he is in this role, and we still technically don't know what he's up to. But I think that this role of being a double agent is more suitable than
Yeah,
just being like a straight trader.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm glad they
Uh,
brought that here.
I'd like it if it was more like how Gen in Doctor Stone was kind of like debating which side to be on between Sukasa and Senku, and he basically says, "I'm going to be on the side that's going to win."
Yeah,
I like to think that Goku's going to be like that. He's going to be like, "Oh, Shadow May's winning now. Oh, I'm going to be on her side. Oh, Matsuri's winning. Oh, I'm going to be on their side."
yeah. I mean, that would be an interesting role to take. The only thing is, I will say with Gen with Doctor Stone is that was very that was like one of Gen's best parts, like in the early parts of the story. But I think it also is something that quickly faded away
Yeah,
because it was pretty obvious who he was loyal to by like the Stone Wars, honestly.
yeah, yeah. But I was just using that as
But
an
I hope with
example.
Gaku, if they're gonna do this, they keep it going for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
I have a feeling that he's ultimately gonna be. I have a feeling he's ultimately gonna be like a quote unquote good guy. But I would like it if there was like more to like his position here. Like maybe he will either A ultimately becomes our final villain, or maybe he takes on like a third position that we don't know about that against the Exorcist and the Ayakashi.
Yeah, I'd like it if it would take on a third position. I'd like it to keep as like Shadow May being like the end game boss, basically being a recurring for now before like the final arc where she like brings her big plan into motion.
I have a feeling with this chapter she's feeling less like an endgame boss for me personally. But I think that's okay because, like we were saying, there's so much more they could do with the Ayakashi Triangle.
Yeah,
Like we know that there's probably other places that they could like just travel to, other exorcists they could probably fight against. So even if Shadow May is like the end of like Suzu's development arc, they could like just go forward with the story from there.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But at the same time, if it does turn out that Shoname is still the end game boss despite everything, I'd be all right with that.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, yeah,
It feels less likely to me this chapter.
yeah. I mean, kind of. I mean, I was going to say that kind of going for like Bakura from Yu-Gi-Oh vibes. How Bakura was always there, like throughout the series until he made his end game move.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah.
Go we have Shaname basically walking around and saying like humans they just make her want to puke, and judging from what happened with Hino Jiko, the faith those two have in each of in over is overwhelming, hence why she has to endure this, and she debates about what she should do, that should she kill Matsuri, Suzu would reject her forever and never be able to fuse with her. So that's why she'll destroy the relationship instead. But that's the thing. If she does decide to destroy the relationship, that's not going to make Suzu trust her. That's going to make Suzu reject her still as well.
Potentially. It depends how she goes about it. So I'm kind of interested, but also I feel like this is going to be the typical cliche. Oh, how do you know Matsuri really has feelings for you or some nonsense? I don't know. It's just going to make it look really difficult.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I can't. I think Shodomei is a lot more smarter than that.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, this chapter we also see she has kind of a goofy side as well.
Oh, yeah,
Well, actually, we already kind of knew she had a goofy side. Remember, even last chapter, she's like, "Yeah, I just came out of the castle. You guys are taking too long. Come and find me." Oh, man, that was so great.
So we have Lulu basically wanting a.
Oh, now you said Lulu. Yeah, but Lucy or Lou. She's just called Lou here.
Lulu, saying that she doesn't have a picture of what was the name that she was used? Hirosake. Or Hirosake as a pseudonym goes, and Shodomei has no. I love that the fact that Shodomei is like so far from the edge past that it's not a concept. She like pictures an unknown concept to her.
Yeah, and I kind of just like that Lucy's just like being super like chill and nice with her because obviously everyone else knows what's going on, but she's just like trying to be friends. Yeah, she's just a really good girl.
Yeah.
She could probably be one of my favorites if they do more with the character.
Oh, yeah,
haven't done enough.
Definitely.
I think she was in the top 5 in the popularity poll.
Yeah, she was in the top 5. Like she was number 4. Like, yeah, she was number 4.
Yeah, so I mean, people really like her for some reason. Somehow, I mean, I like her too, but not that much.
Not that much. I mean, if anything, despite her status, I like Shodomei more than Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Japan really likes villains though, because I mean, like people in the MHA poll we talked about that earlier, like people wondering like why Shigaraki was a little lower than usual, or that Twice wasn't even on. Like Twice was like either really far down or just not on the list.
Yeah, Japan.
And I was also surprised.
Well, here's the thing: like Japan must love villains because Johan from Monster is regarded as one of the greatest villains.
Yeah, but this might just be me, but I swear when I hear people recommend Monster, it's always Western anime fans. I don't hear too many like Japan fans like tell me it's like, oh man, Monster is such a masterpiece. It's really the Western fans, like with Dead Man Wonderland, for example. I mean, it could still be popular in Japan. I don't know the sales numbers or anything. I'm just like from my own experience, I've heard Western fans say it more than.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, May doesn't know what smartphones are, but she's okay to go along with it. And wait, what? I'm just saying, like, what? With Susan saying she's acting kind of strange, is that meant to be for May or Lucy? Because like Lucy's
it did because they were both acting strange. But yeah, no, I think that was meant to be for Hirosaka / May.
Yeah, because Lucy's line there. Yes, human evolution has come a long way since discovering the monolith,
whatever that means.
Like, what is that? Like, I've just noticed that as well. That line's got me intrigued. Like, Lucy is Lucy a time traveler? Like that. That would be.
She called Shadow May a time traveler, but it's really she who is the time traveler.
Yeah,
I think it's played off right now. It's just her Lucy being weird, but we'll see. I don't think it actually means anything just yet.
Oh my word! What if Lucy's an Ayakashi?
I mean, honestly, at this point, that would be not surprising. It would explain so much.
Like she's an Ayakashi. She's an Ayakashi. Oh. What if she's an Ayakashi that fought against a previous life of Suzu in the past?
So you mean like how she could potentially become like a enemy that we have to fight?
Yeah.
Huh. I mean, that would be an interesting twist.
Yeah,
but
it just seems so strange how like the way Lucy acts sometimes. It's just like, what is her deal?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely gonna need to be like looked into more.
Yeah. Um,
But yeah, I think the acting strange was more for like
oh,
May
yeah,
being a
yeah.
weirdo.
She's someone from over 150 years ago. Yeah. So we have Lucy getting ready to take the picture, and May freaking out, and of course doing what people like to call the chest slap, but it has a different name, but I cannot say it.
That's okay. But yeah, it's actually almost super cute how she's like, I can't disappear just yet. Because it's like she's evil, but also she has like her mission that she's like really
Mm,
wants to do.
yeah. And then we have Lucy and Yayo thinking like, what is going on here, and saying maybe it's that superstition from the Edom period. You know how they thought your spirit would be drawn out of you if your picture was taken. Like,
Yeah, that's basically the Japanese like fatal frame kind of thing where you take a picture and the ghosts go away.
yeah. And then, of course, Lucy immediately goes to time traveler, and Susan's like, "Well, she's not wrong.
I mean, she's not in some ways.
Technically, she's right."
She's just really, really old. It's more like she
Yeah,
just lived long enough.
yeah.
But yeah, then the next page we kind of
Uh,
get the deal they made about them being high school, and then Suzu thinking that she could reform herself, become good, and then like bond with humans.
Yeah, because it's revealed what her true feelings are. That May was feared by humans and could only be close with Ayakashi's. For her, the world of humans is mostly unknown, and what is unknown causes fear. So yeah, kind of interesting that she's got this fear of like humans and things like they're all just like disgusting creatures. Because she's never really gone to know them because she was feared by them herself in the past.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I mean, a pretty decent
also,
characterization.
yeah. Also, as well, pages 18 and 19. Look, isn't that Gayako next to May, but like as a younger version of him?
Yeah, yeah. I also noticed that, and I think, and probably those other spirits like the flame that we see in the back. I think that's that one
The
giant
son,
fire thing.
the son Ayakashi, basically.
Yeah, the one Akashi we fought, where the Ryu was there and they were all being like extra lewd and playing having summer fun to
Yeah.
summon it. Yeah, so
Uh,
I think yeah, those are some of the Ayakashi that followed Mei in the past.
okay. Yeah.
We probably, I don't know if we know the rest. Maybe we'll see them later if we haven't, but we might have already seen them and I just don't remember.
Maybe. And we get Susie saying if Shaname also shares those feelings, then maybe as she lives among humans, her resentment towards humans can be purged. But that's still not going to prevent Susie from telling her to basically get off Matsuri.
Yep,
Yeah. And then we get
because
this.
yep.
Yeah, and then we get the end of the chapter with Shirogane saying, "Maybe I'll never be able to turn back to normal," which gets me thinking. Like, I think the end game is going to be like Matsuri and Shirogane will have to sacrifice. It'll be like a final battle, where they'll have to sacrifice their ability to turn back.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So yeah, Ayakashi Triangle, very fun chapter. Really enjoyed it, and don't really know where it's going to go now because it could go in so many different directions.
It's very true. But I think right now, what we're going to be seeing is just like some more high school chapters, which honestly I'm fine with because I wanted to see more of Lucy and Yayo and, and Rio, and they're all at the school. So it'll be nice to just like have some school time, which is weird for me to say because I usually hate that. Like in My Hero, I hate it so much when they just are like doing school stuff. But now I'm like, Ayakashi, yeah, school adventures.
Yeah. So, and I guess that will lead into a segue because speaking of high school series, not high school family, high school series, we can move to talking about Witch Watch.
Yep.
So, let me just get it up.
Yeah, me too. Okay, picture watch. Yes. Let's take them all to load. Okay, there we go. So we're running the cover loading. Oh, okay. There was no cover.
No.
All right.
So, which watch? We get an Emu chapter! Yay!
Yeah, when I saw that Nema was texting, I'm like, well, Luke's going to be happy.
Oh, I was happy.
Basically, the plot point we settled, I looked into this, it was like all the way back in chapter 33, is finally coming into play.
Yeah. Basically, the chapter that I've pretty much wanted for a while.
Yep. Nema coming over.
Not in the way that I thought was going to get it, but pretty much.
Oh, really? I thought this is exactly what was going to happen. Nemu acting on the promise that
I mean, what I meant was like Nemu's stuck in her cat form in the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but now she's in the house.
You're still waiting for that one in particular.
Yes, I am. Still waiting for that one. So yeah, we have
at that point when that chapter happens, that'll be Luke's chapter of the week.
Well, it depends how good it is.
Depends how good it is. But I mean, which watch? It's almost always good. Like this chapter was amazing.
This chapter was. So yeah, we have.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so we have Nemu saying that summer vacation is started, which finally Mo can get some peace and quiet from the studio council for once.
That's actually a good point. Oh man.
Yeah. So yeah, they don't have any plans. So Nemu is coming over to the house, and she should move into the house already. Oh, what was that? What was that?
Still waiting for that chapter.
Yes, I'm still waiting for that chapter.
I have a feeling that won't be until I feel like that'll happen at the end of like the next, serious arc, let's call it. Because like that's when Keiko came in after they had the whole thing. So I think the next time they have a huge confrontation, Emma will be involved, and then she'll move in. Some of that.
So we have Nemu getting nervous about the idea of actually coming into the house. But of course,
she's super introverted and it's adorable.
Yeah, but of course she is only doing this because of Wolf, and she's been trying to debate for ages how to get him to see a crescent moon, as she can't simply go up to him and shove a crescent moon in his face. Like, hey Nemu, you've got bleach in this universe, use that.
I mean, that's what we want to see, but I have a feeling that based on some stuff in when she went into Keiko's room, she didn't recognize any of his stuff. I'm guessing she's not a huge anime person.
Good point.
But otherwise, yes, we do need to see some Getsuga Temp show.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, this being a manga, everyone except the characters that the chapter's about have to leave the house. Like, coincidentally.
Yeah, I do want to say something about that. Well, first I want to say to anyone who's still here and may not be aware, there was a chapter in the past where Nemu was in her cat form and Wolf figured out that she was the cat and agreed to keep it a secret if she would come once a month and bring him out of Keigo. And that's because he wants to come out and do some training to eventually fight Morihito and gain dominance, whatever, because Wolf mentality. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing, everyone leaving. That seems super rude. I don't know about you, but I thought that was kind of rude.
I know it was. A friend is having trouble. I want to use my magic to help them. And yeah, she even says, "I know this is super rude of me," and it's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's like I invited you over, and now I'm gonna leave you in my house. Bye.
Why do I get the feeling that it was just an excuse? Why do I get the feeling it was just an excuse to get them both in the house together at the same time, and they're just not admitting it?
Wait, hang on. Nico is just secretly a shipper, just shipping these two.
Yeah, because she literally made a banner saying "Welcome, Nemu."
Oh man, she it was balloons and flowers and everything.
Yeah.
Oh man, and then
and of course, she makes a cat on there as well.
Yeah, wait, she doesn't even know about the cat.
Yeah,
why did she do that?
I have no idea. I guess she said.
I mean, her name does have some cat puns in it, but oh my god, now that you pointed it out, it's like I almost want to say, like,
I think
well,
Nico.
Wolf wasn't here. Okay, Wolf wasn't have been the only one who could have done that. Ah, man, that's kind of funny. Now that
I
you
think.
pointed it out, I'm
I
thinking
think
about it so
Nico.
much.
I think Nico knows. I think Nico knows,
He
and it's just
secretly knows.
yeah. And she knows that. I think she secretly saw Wolf and Nico together, and she's like, "Oh, this will be fun."
Oh man,
So
that
yeah,
would be kind of funny. But yeah, anyway, so the three of them leave. Khan has to go get some cash. Yeah, then Moy goes to guard Nico,
yeah,
and then we have our two socially awkward people alone.
yeah. The
Which,
most
yeah,
socially awkward
you put
people.
two introverts together, this is what's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, this is awkward. You as we get Nemu's insecurities about did I really just get left alone with Keigo? Well, he is my target, so I guess this makes it easier. But still, for some reason, I feel like I'm suffocating already. So yeah, and of course she has no idea how to handle the situation, so she picks the
Yeah,
first
because
thing that
apparently
comes.
she's very bad with boys. That's like a
Yeah,
running joke.
so she picks the first thing that comes to her mind. Can we go to your room without actually thinking about like, wait, what that actually means?
I was so caught off guard when she said that. I'm like, no, do you realize what you just said?
Yeah, I don't think she did. I think she was just so caught up of like trying to break the ice. It's like, can we go to your room? Wait, no,
The
what? I
weird.
couldn't. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go.
No,
Okay, so what
no.
I wanted to say was the next page kind of like explains it a little bit. In her mind, she was thinking, okay, I'm going to go to his room, find something he might like, and use that as a conversation starter. Uh, so I kind of understood where she was going with that specifically. But at the same time, it's still kind of hilarious that she didn't even think about, like, for a second, inviting herself into a boys' room.
Yeah, and even he's like, huh? Like,
Yeah.
like you just see
Especially because we know what's going on in like Keigo's mind as we learn,
yeah.
like, which is like the next page over, basically,
So
where
for
she's like, "Oh
all of
my
you,
gosh!" Oh, sorry.
so for all of you out there, Nemu X Kago ship, it's happening.
Maybe. I would. I mean, we'll see. We can talk about that near the end.
Yeah. So we
Uh,
have
but yeah,
uh
Keigo like is like, "Oh my God, she's so pretty. What am I supposed to do in this situation?" Which is kind of adorable. Because yeah, he's like he was trying to find a way to not sound like a weirdo first, and then he immediately comes off as a weirdo because he's Keigo.
yeah, because he's Kago. Um
I
and
don't know any of the things he's on page what's it 9
yeah,
or
pages
page
9.
9.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I don't know any of those things he's saying.
I guess
Are those
uh
musicians?
um I guess it's supposed to just be music. Like, let me have a look at that. Oh, I think he's say, yeah,
So what
because
kind of music to listen to? Is he trying to say it in a weird way?
yeah. I think he's trying to say. So what kind of
Oh,
music do
okay.
you? Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
But
he's fumbling his words.
he's fumbling it. So it's like, so what kind of music do you listen to?
Okay. I'm glad I didn't get that when I first read this, so I'm glad I
I
got
did.
that joke now.
I didn't get that as well, but now looking at it, it's like because you see, mu said ik, so music. Do
Yeah.
yeah. So he's trying to say it, but he's fumbling his words. Because he does clarify. He does say it. Does say she says, "Come again." What Kina music? Sorry, what music and stuff. Yeah, so he does actually clarify it. Yeah. Speak clear, because yeah, she says, "Speak clearly. Don't talk like your mouth is full of mush, full of mush." G. So he's probably going like, "Well, so what kind of music do you listen to?" It's probably doing it like that.
Yep. So yeah, that was kind of funny. Although then she answers like something like really simple, like, "Oh, I just listen to anything. I like classical music." And then Keiko goes, "Basically, I listen to only Western music. I can't even tolerate the other stuff, but I'm okay, actually okay, listening to whatever." And I'm like, "What? None of that was a coherent sentence.
No, I
What
like
the heck?"
I like to think it was more like me, I basically listen to Western music only. Heck, I can't even tolerate other stuff. But I actually like he's probably doing it like really fast as well, or probably so robotic as well. Like
I do
me,
like how Namu is totally aware that he's just trying hard to act cool.
yeah. Oh, then it's probably like me. I basically listen to Western music only. Heck, I can't even tolerate. Like he's just trying to be so chill about it, but he's so useless.
Yep. Oh, man, poor Keiko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they have a pointless conversation about the sky.
Yeah, I was a little thrown off by that. At first, I thought that was going something to do with like the moon and crescent moon or something. But knowing this author, I wonder if there's something about like, oh yeah, I haven't looked at the sky much, and then someone actually looks at the sky. It's like, oh man, there's this giant thing in the sky we just didn't see because none of us were just looking at it for like the longest time.
I know. I know.
I don't know. I feel like there's going to be something with the sky just because that's the kind of thing this author would do.
Yeah. Also, I've got to say, like Nemu's dress that she's wearing in this chapter, like that's kind of a how did he do this like that dress in that style?
What do you mean?
Like, because if you look at it's kind of like a bit it kind of distort like go on to page 89 where you get the dress where it's like she's really 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 pretty. It kind of it kind of distorts your eyes a little bit if you really look at it.
Yeah, I guess so. I thought you were going to ask how he drew it, but which I don't know. He probably just drew a bunch of lines. Like if you look at where the folds are curving, like the lines don't fold properly, so he just straight up. It's just a straight up effect he drew on top of a shirt.
Yeah, I can't look at it for long because it like just wears your eyes out just looking at it.
Okay,
that is
a nice dress. I think.
Yeah, that is an image to wear your eyes out. But yeah, so yeah, she's trying to look over at his room, can't find anything, so she brings out a Blu-ray that she bought with her. Like, I love the fact that she bought the blue sky is sky blue on Blu-ray.
Okay, you know, now that I think about it, that's too many references to the sky. Something's definitely going on with the sky right now. I didn't even put that together. Oh my God, this is why I like talking with you. I just realized things I didn't realize before.
I didn't even realize that as well. But like, they're making making clear references to the sky too much.
We're gonna fight something in the sky. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But also I like how it was like I brought like a whole movie, and eventually there's this one scene with the crescent moon in it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, okay, that's called playing the long game.
Yeah, definitely.
But I do like how Keiko's like, I don't want to come off the wrong way because, I mean, in his defense, Nemu did just invite herself into his room, so being any more friendly is going to get very intimate. And as soon as he thinks that, she's like, let's go watch a movie together. I'll sit on your bed next to you.
Yeah. The only way this could be more awkward is if she put her hand in between them and then he put his hand down.
Any physical contact between them would be pushing too far. He even brought like desserts to eat.
Oh my God.
It's like such a date.
Yeah.
It's like when Blue Box, everyone's struggling to get a date. Nemu just like she's just landing a date without trying.
Yeah, she just kind of walked in and be like, "Hey, I'm dating you today." Okay.
Yep, and that is kind of what I was saying earlier in our stream. When compared to this with Blue Box, I'm like how this is a lot more straight. Even though there's awkwardness between like a boy and a girl because they're teenagers, they still get past it. And it's like, is that so hard to? Too much to ask. It can be done. It's being done here.
Yeah. So we have the watching the movie together, going through thoughts about how how Keigo's probably getting absorbed into the movie. But
he's a big movie guy, so it makes sense.
Yeah. But I don't think he is because he says later in the movie, like, it's not good. It's not a good movie.
Oh, well, yeah, I think he's also just saying that for what was happening in the scene afterwards. But that's a separate point. Because I think Keigo actually was like, fairly invested, but then he's realized something's more important than the movie.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. But
yeah, Emma's like checking him out.
Yeah, checking him out. And saying, do we have to sit through this awkward romantic vibe the whole time? Yeah, you should have like Nemu, before you actually came here, you should have watched the movie yourself to find out when the scene was.
I have a feeling it's like one of those movies she saw a long time ago, but she forgot how long it was.
Oh yeah, like how long? I honestly,
It's like, you know, those movies you've seen like a dozen times, so you kind of know everything that happens, but you don't realize how long in between those moments are because movies are kind of bloated in that way.
yeah. I'd love it if the movie was 3 hours long.
Yeah, it probably is. It's
Yeah,
about the sky. It's like, wait, I'm going to read the title again. The blue sky is so sky blue.
on
They made a
Blu-ray.
3 hour movie called that.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, I love it if it was 3 hours long and it's just the last shot before the credits. That's the moon, the crescent
oh,
moon.
oh my God, yeah. It's like, or an after credit scene.
Oh yeah,
It was an after credit scene.
like you have to sit through the credits as well.
Oh
So
man.
um,
Yeah, but then Keigo, he actually asked a good question. Because, like, what's your specialty magic? I mean, obviously we know it, but I say it's a good question because it's like weird that nobody has asked her that yet.
I know, I know, I
And when
know.
he asked it, I'm like, oh yeah, despite being a friend of theirs, they don't really know anything about her. It is kind of weird.
Yeah, I think that's actually going to be brought up later as well. Like Keigo's just going to get up in a conversation like, so what do you guys actually like about Nemu? And they're going to be like, uh, wait, do you guys
She's
even
cute.
wait, do you guys even know anything about her?
Oh yeah, actually, I could see that. Like in the next series arc, like it could be like centered around Nemu, her troubles, and she could be in trouble, and then people, and then Keigo would be like, I'm the only one who really spent any time with her, and
Yeah,
then that's gonna hit like a ton of bricks.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
so we have Nemu basically giving some
Yeah, she's
backstory
basically
into
like doesn't want to like let him know about the cat thing.
no, so she's kind of like playing it off like her mother was an elite witch. I have to become an elite like her someday, but I'm just average really. Even my mother is getting fed up with me. I don't have the incredible talent that Nico does.
Yeah, and I just
Lately,
want to bring up this point
yeah, go on.
here. What I wonder what an elite witch means. Like we really don't get too much about magic society yet. Like
Oh
we
yeah, that's a good
so
point.
I hope that through Nemu, because Nico, like she feels like someone who has intentionally led a very sheltered life. Because if she wasn't, she could end up becoming the ultimate evil magic person. So I get why she was sheltered, but like with Nemu, she should know a little bit more about Magic Society, and I want her to be that person in the group to be like, okay, this is how Witch Society works. This is how uh, uh, all these all these different magic segments of Magic Society interact, and what like, and if her mom's like an elite witch, maybe she has some authority of some kind. Especially if she
Yeah,
comes from like a traditional line that usually means like someone with like either noble or royal lineage.
yeah. I could definitely see that happening as well, and also, also, um, seeing just uh, I would honestly love a flashback with Nemu, like what her early childhood was like as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I guess the last point I want to bring up there is like, I think in Egyptian cultures, cats were used as a symbol of royalty, so it's
Oh,
probably more likely.
oh, maybe that's the thing. Like she's part Egyptian.
Maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell races in manga sometimes because everything's black and white. So could be. But I don't think we saw a color page with her yet. Maybe we did. Maybe
Maybe
I'm
we
just forgetting.
did.
But either way, it doesn't matter. Like, because Sai from Doctor Stone's Indian, but he's very, very light skinned.
Yeah. Um,
Which I can. Which, to be fair, some Indians actually are light skinned. I have Indians in my family who are. So it's not like wrong.
okay.
It's just variation. But what I want to say with Nemu, one more thing: if she is a royal of some kind, that could feed into like the next story. Like maybe there's going to be some kind of, I don't know, political fallout in the magic world, and that's how
Yeah.
we get to our next serious arc. And then Nemu leaves the life behind and comes to live in, with Nico and the gang.
Yay! Yeah, I'd love that. Make it happen. Please make it happen.
That would be like a good arc. But then it's Shinohara. He probably has everything planned, and something with Sky is definitely coming
Yeah.
up. Sky castles. I don't know.
It's the Y man. The Y man's making his way into into this series.
Oh man, I definitely want to see Doctor Stone references at some
I,
point.
I,
They could
I,
just look
I,
at the moon and be like, "Oh my God, is it the Y Man?" And
no, you want to know what it'll be? Like there'll be an enemy that can turn them to stone, and they'll be like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! It's the Y Man! It's the Y Man with his Medusas."
oh man, I could see that. Or even just the crescent moon being
Yeah,
like, you just Keiko screaming at the moon. It's like, what is it, Keiko? It's like, it's the moon. And it's like, what's that? Is it the Y Man? It's like, no, it's just going to turn into wolf now.
yeah. Oh my god, that would be hilarious. Yeah.
Man. But
So anyway, anyway. Kago turns the movie off, saying it's dumb if you did because Nemu said that she wished she'd never been born a witch, and she wished she was just average, and she could.
oh, I
She
guess
wish,
just one small thing I wanted to bring up in page
yeah.
12, like when Keiko was absorbed in the movie, she also said, hurry and eat your cake. And that's just like a small one of those small important lines that come up
All
later.
right. All right.
But
Yeah.
yes, keep going. You're on page
14th and
15.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we have Nemu basically wishing that she could walk up to God right now and complain, and then in parallel to what's happening in the movie, Keigo basically says, "If you did walk up to God and he said he'd make you normal, would you really do it?" And this where Nemu says, "Yeah, I don't think so." Before he says, "Yeah, your heritage hasn't meant things are all sunshine and roses for you, but I bet." It hasn't been all doom and gloom either. I'm sure it brought you important things you cherish too. Look at me, I'm a werewolf. And it has. Yeah, it has done. And that's a really good message to take away from this chapter. Like, doesn't matter
Yeah.
where you come from or what you're born into. It's what you actually do with it.
And yeah, that's a really great message. And I like that it came from Keigo in this way because he had like a whole character arc in the last serious arc. And he even like, turned off a movie, which we know he's a huge film buff. So he's pushing aside movies, trying to have a real moment with someone who needs to hear what he has to say. Really great character
Yeah.
moment here. And then I think the next thing he says, well, there's a lot of except ourselves we can't change. Complaining isn't going to fix anything. If you blame it on the world, people around you, well, lots of things start to seem like other people's fault. And I feel like that might also feed into like the next serious arc where someone's going to hate something about themselves. And that's going to feed into conflict because we see all these flags in gender and family stuff. So it all a bunch of sources of conflict for humanity. So I'm thinking that's this is like kind of alluding to that.
I agree as well. And also, he says that Wolf has been a pain in the butt for him, but he's not complaining about him because he was born a werewolf and he got to meet and be friends with you all. And then they kiss. No, I'm just kidding.
And that's and then Demo just goes, "Oh, you finally dropped the awkward cool guy act."
And,
Keiko immediately got embarrassed.
yeah,
So
and it's
cute.
just like, no, I didn't. But yeah, I'm gonna eat the cake. I'm gonna eat the cake now, and I'm gonna turn the movie back on. But then was like, no, it's all right. It's all right. And of course, the symbol for the cake that she bought, like the symbol for the company, is a crescent moon.
Yeah, there's a crescent moon on the plate where the cake is placed on,
Yeah,
which I mean, I did not see that coming
I know,
at all.
I know.
So it was pretty clever. So I will admit I agree with Wolf. Good job, Nemu. I did
Yeah,
not see that coming.
but of course, then at this point, it's like, right, I got you out, so I'm gonna be going now. Bye. Uh,
Yeah, and then she has like a bit of banter with Wolf. Although what I find weird with this is Wolf wanted to come out once a month to do some training, right?
right.
And that's why he came in and like said, "Hey, get me out of Kago." But didn't actually do any training. He just said, "Okay, then, well, I guess we'll just hang out." And I'm just like, "What do you mean you're going to hang out? There's literally your one point in time when you can do some training."
I know, I know.
So that I felt was kind of dumb. That's like the one thing I really
Oh, I
felt off
think it.
about the chapter.
No. I think it's more of a case of like. I think Wolf does have feelings for Nemu, and he's like, that. That might actually be like the actual thing about him wanting to fight, wanting to fight Moe, yeah, that might just be an excuse to actually get him out so that he can spend time with Nemu because I think he has feelings for Nemu and he'll probably want to be her familiar.
Oh yeah, I could see something like that.
Yeah, because he says you and Keiko had a really interesting conversation. Conversation. He's so happy he got to meet everyone. What about you? And then Nemu gets like really embarrassed by that. So that maybe he's basically saying like, so do you like Keigo? Then that must mean you like me as well.
Yep. That's actually pretty fun. And yeah, and then the chapter ends with like Nico coming home and then Nico being like, "Hey, Wolf, what did you do to Nemu?" And he's like, "I didn't do anything yet."
No, you
So, I mean,
didn't.
based on that line, that sounds like Wolf was
Yeah,
planning on doing something.
that's probably an indication like, yeah, Wolf does have feelings for her, but he's gonna be a little bit more he likes to be a little bit of a rough boy about it, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. God.
Yeah.
And
So
then
yeah,
yeah, and then Nemu says you were far cooler when you tried to stop acting all cool. So yeah. So like you said, there is like a potential ship happening with Nemu and Keigo. What's interesting though, and why I want to talk about it is it seems like she has sort of like feelings for she could develop feelings for Keigo down the line and might be attracted to Wolf as well. But it's like they're like both the same person but also different people. So it's very confusing for me.
yeah. Isn't it sort of like because is it sort of like the Victor Andy Fuko dynamic in Undead Unluck?
And to my knowledge, not really, no. Because what Victor is, yeah, I think this is fine to say. See, what Victor is he's kind of like who Andy was a long time ago, and then kind of just and then Andy just, or Victor sort of sealed himself away. So Andy could be Andy. So it's like a part of himself. But also, Fuku has like no romantic feelings towards Victor. Like her feelings are towards Andy, like solely. And so they're kind of treat themselves as separate people, and Victor just does like a past reincarnation almost that just sort of lives on inside Andy because he's immortal. So it is actually quite different.
Okay, fair
Like
enough,
if
fair enough.
Nemu had like feelings, I mean, actually, it would still be awkward if Nemu had feelings for one rather than the other. But I feel like at least if she had feelings for Keigo and Wolf was just kind of there, that would be one thing. But this, I mean, I guess it works out, but it's also kind of strange to me. I don't know. That's just my only thing with the ship. It just feels a little weird.
Yeah, fair enough. But hey, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But you want to
I
know
mean, yeah, I'd
how?
rather have this than have like Nemu be like a rival to Nico. That would be the worst. So don't
Yeah,
do that.
don't do
This
that.
series has been good about not having rivals. That's the other thing I prefer about this over Blue Box. There's no dumb rivalry that we got to
Yeah.
worry about.
Um, until one of the student council people comes into the frame.
Nah, I don't. What? Oh my God! No, please no.
Because you know that's going to happen because they are all simping for Moe. They want him.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
oh
Um,
my God.
but yeah, one thing that here's an idea, Wolf, that you could do: buy a shirt that has a crescent moon on it. So like, if you want to come out once a month, get Nemu to sort of like put that shirt on you. Oh no, that would be more awkward. Now that I think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyway, so Witch Watch, pretty fun chapter. Nice to get a Nemu chapter.
Yep, I really enjoyed this. Just good character development for Keigo, great lessons to learn from Nemu, followed up on like a plot point they set up before. And now I know that there's something with the sky going on. And I
Yeah.
feel like Nemu also dropped some hints towards the next arc. As for predictions, I mean, this chapter was like one of my big predictions for a while. So what comes after this, I mean, other than this, what we said before, I don't know. I feel. Oh yeah, yeah. Wait, no, I did. I do know. I do know. What am I saying? I wanted to ask you. You know how Nico and Moy had to step out for this for something.
Yeah.
Do you think that next time we'll see what that something is?
Possibly.
Because I think that would be like a good idea. Because then we could see it's like, okay, well, what caused Nico to leave? Because then that way we'll see what was going on with them, and then it can feed into like a bigger story arc down the line. Because they were Keigo and Nemu were having this moment, and then Moy and Nico were dealing with some antics, and then Khan was doing some kind of part-time job. They could actually just feed all those lines into like one story potentially. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, and I think it would be as well. Yeah. So yeah, just really fun series. Hope we get more antics like this before we move into the next big plot point.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do like Witch Watch when it's serious or goofy, but I'm also hoping for like a more serious arc down the line. But I can wait a bit more. I think there's some more setup they should probably be doing anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a serious arc involved with the student council.
Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, they've been in like two chapters in a row. They have to play a part. Maybe even that girl we saw in the tea ceremony because she is related to the student council president. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of moving pieces right now they could bring together.
yeah. So yeah, I guess Mission Yotsuko Family is next.
I'll just make a 240. Okay, so then Yozakura.
Yeah. Overall, what was your impression of this chapter? Because it was a Keigo chapter. Like, it's funny. We have Witch Watch. We have basically two characters that were focal point that basically have the similar names. We have Keigo and Kengo.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. But I mean, it's probably more a Japanese thing. Uh, so yeah, with this chapter, at first I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be another like fun little goofy chapter. It's gonna be like there's like just like a Kengo chapter. And then of course it fed into like I thought the only plot point would have been like when Shion was talking about working on the notebook. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so it's like slice of life chapter, but with like little bits of plot here on the side. But then we get the ending section, and oh boy, like
Oh
just those
boy.
last couple of pages were just the moments between Futaba and Kingo. Like that almost was like, is this my chapter of the week? It might be my chapter of the week. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
so debating even now, to be honest,
Yeah. Oh,
because I
and
mean,
also as well, next week we get the popularity poll reveal.
oh, that's next week.
That's next week. That's next week. So if this chapter, well, I know the popularity poll's already been done, but if Futaba's not in not in like the top 10 at least, then I don't know. I don't know what Japan is thinking.
I mean, the polls like were closed for a while now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, like in the MHA poll, for example, like Stars and Stripes was nowhere there, despite having like so many chapters dedicated to it. That's because the her art came after the polls.
Oh yeah, yeah. But still, either way, I'd be very like who prediction. Who do you think's going to be the top five?
Um, that's a good question. I feel like Shion's definitely going to be up there, and then we have um, probably I can see Tayo being up there as the main character, and then I'm debating whether Kyochiro will be up there or not because like he's like a big character, but I don't know if people actually like him. um, I could see I don't know about top five, top 10 definitely, top five I'm not sure. A Futaba I can see too as well in the top five. Mm. And then from there, I'm a little less certain because they might bring out some side characters I wouldn't necessarily put in the top five myself, but Japan might really like. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously Tayo and Mutsumi will probably be in the top five. That's I think that's gonna be pretty locked in. I I could I could see uh I think just because of that one chapter where she first came into the house, I think that's gonna elevate her character a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
yeah.
I just don't know if it's top five or top 10 just because he's
Uh,
still kind of a newer character, but could be.
Futaba, I could see as well. Um, I could actually see Ban, like the grandpa. I could see him definitely getting in there, even though,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
yeah, even though he's a character that doesn't do much. It's those characters that don't do much that usually end up being the ones that are the most surprising.
This is very true. Yes.
Like, and also, oh, what's the name? I've like Mission Yosako. Ayaka, I could see the maid.
Oh, I mean, if Japan did that, it could just be a Japan thing. But it's just like she's. I mean, she had one chapter recently. I forgot when the polls were open and closed. So maybe that could have helped her with that.
Yeah,
Because with that, I could see even Shinzo being up there because he's had a couple chapters.
oh yeah, definitely. Maybe
But I was also trying to think about when the polls were, but I don't remember honestly.
yeah, the White Snake, like the lady that fought Tayo on the train, that she'd probably get somewhere. Like, I'm just going with like the most obscure.
I like that character, but she was just there for that one arc, though.
Yeah, I'm just going with the just most obscure characters. Like, okay,
Oh.
I'm thinking how Japan works. Like, okay, the characters that we predict are not usually there, so we have to think like them. Like, who are they gonna pick?
I mean, to be fair, in Doctor Stone, it's usually the characters we would think of.
Yeah, but I'm just like thinking like there's usually some obscure character. Like with this last one with My Hero, like the movie character. Like, really?
Yeah, I think My Hero fan base is just really weird in general.
Yeah, but
I think it's just their fan base.
Top three. Much as I wouldn't put him in the top three, Koichiro I think is going to get in the top three.
I'm wondering, maybe I could see it, but
like if I was a betting man, I would go.
I mean, especially if it was like after the exam arc. If the polls came after that, then sure.
Yeah, if I was going to be a betting man, I would say Tayo number 5, Futaba number 4, Koichiro number 3, Shinzo number 2, and then Mutsumi number 1. Like that would be that I could see like if it's not Mutsumi, then it's going to be Tayo. Tayo will probably be number 1.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I was also thinking about Mutsumi, but I'm also like, I feel like she'll be up there, but I don't know if she'd be in the top 3 or not.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like so swap out Tayo with Mutsumi. So like Mutsumi would probably be number 5.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Yeah. So yeah, actually moving into the chapter properly. So
Yeah.
we have Kengo basically being freaked out because he has a pimple on his face, and everyone's saying he's such a fickle child. He'll be fine again soon, but he's always so carefree and energetic. And then that's when they realize, oh, he has a pimple, he has a zit, and as soon as he hears the word zit, he gets freaked out by it because he is a man of beauty.
Yep. And it kind of makes sense for him to be. I honestly thought that they would focus on the fact that he didn't like the pimple because it would affect his disguising. But this route worked too.
Yeah. So we have. Oh, I loved it. This was the part that made me laugh the most, where we have Keigo going, I've been first place 3 years running in weekly spy planning's cunning, cool, cute spy ranking, and spies with eyes that make your heart flutter raging. I mean, Keigo Yosakura, I'm truly the face of the Yosakura family. And then you have Futaba saying, you've also been in first place 5 years running in the narcissistic and annoying spy ranking.
Yeah, I always forget that all these spies are just like ranked. Like on
it's funny how that like the spies should be hidden, and yet there's like more information out. There's more information out there about them than some people that should have all that you should know information about.
Yep.
I bet
It is hilarious.
I bet Japan in this universe knows more about the Yosakura family than like what the Edo period was.
Yeah, I could believe that.
Yeah. Uh,
And so then they decide to go through his beauty regiment. Like
yeah.
that's like a good half of this chapter.
Yeah.
Just Kengo's beauty regimen.
Which of course he has to drag Tayo into him, even though Tayo's like, why me? And he says male beauty treatment is all the range. Keep up with the times. I can just imagine Tayo saying like, but I don't want to.
Yeah. But I mean, to be fair, everybody likes his smooth skin. That's kind of like a running joke in this chapter.
I know. So for anyone who wants to know what Kengo's beauty regime is, here's the tips. First, the basic of skincare: a gentle soap, lather face cleanser, moisturizing cream lotion, amino acids, and high, high, high hyaluronic acids to give our skin a smooth layer of pro pro protection. But Tayo's like, we only get rougher that way. Now, with the
Yeah, and
higher,
Tayo is right. Like a lot of that stuff will dry up your skin. And for those who don't know, hyaluronic acid is used for pimple treatment.
yeah, I thought at first I was mispronouncing it as like hydrochloric acid, but then I realized no, that's acid
That would burn your skin.
that
Yeah,
basically melts skin.
yeah,
Yeah, and then next they exercise to detox their bodies of me- metabolic waste by sweating it out. And I love that I love that fact. I love what Ty says, the fact that you just see them just like doing exercise, and then he's like, how can you sleep with this much energy?
yeah. I mean, he has a point.
Yeah. um
I'm actually
uh,
surprised that part of the step worked.
I know. Anyway, we cut to the next day, and the pimple is still there, which is freaking Kango out much more. So his logical solution is to go into a tanker that Nanano has.
Yep. Weirdly, this reminds me of those tanks from Dragon Ball Z, where like those healing tanks.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, from like the Frieza saga, they put like Goku and like Vegeta in there, and then they just got healed and came back better.
Okay.
That's literally what.
I was thinking more of like Bleach with Mayori and his healing pods that he had, where he
Oh
put
yeah, I mean
yeah
yeah. Basically, these are healing pods from every shonen series
yeah
ever.
yeah. Which is funny that my Mayori just used that as an excuse, like, yeah, I've done my work here, so I'm gonna peace out from the rest of the arc for now. When, when he did that,
Yeah.
when he went into the healing pod in Bleach.
hmm
Yeah.
But
So yeah,
then like while they're in the pods, it looks like they're analyzing the journal. I didn't really understand what they were doing exactly. They just like looks like they're just researching the journal.
yeah, it does look like they're just researching the journal. Uh, maybe on the like they say on the places that uh Nino is connected to. Uh, uh,
Yeah,
uh,
they're trying to find places, I guess, where they could potentially find her.
yeah, definitely, because they say that they're going to use that info to up the Summonia detection system accuracy. So yeah, they are using it to okay, where is Nino right now? Um, but yeah, Shinzo basically says, "Stop developing the plots that are dying in here." That's basically
Yep.
what he says.
Yep. That was funny. It's like, no, no more plot. We need to focus on antics this week.
Yeah, no
That's
more
what I
plot.
actually thought. Like when I was first reading this chapter, I thought, okay, that's about all the plot we're getting.
Yeah, no more plot. We still need to focus on this pimple.
and
Yeah.
then I really like Taya's skin.
Oh yeah, I love that as well because it's like everyone like, oh, you're so springy. I just, I could just imagine it being like that sound.
Yep. And they kind of hint at, well, okay, well, then Kengo almost falls for an online scam. But then they also hint at the mental health and affecting skin. And at the time, I was like, that probably doesn't mean anything.
No, it did. It did.
Yeah, it
Um,
did. It meant a lot.
yeah, and also I love like as well like kind of going back to Ai's chimera form. Like when she gets annoyed, her tail goes all stiff, kind of pretty much like a dog and a cat would do.
Yep.
So I like that nice little detail. But yeah, the big point of this chapter is that Kango is basically hiding some insecurities. Uh, so he says, "I'm a man who indulges in nothing but fun," which we know, which with him is a disguise for what he's truly feeling. Because he says words like vexation and stress don't exist in my dictionary, um, uh, and and Tayu basically says you look like the embodiment of stress right now because yeah he does because he's shaking in that panel. But uh, he gets away with this by saying like, "Yeah, we're gonna have some downtime now, so see you later." And Tayu's wondering if he's gonna be okay before we cut to him and Futaba. With him saying, "I can't sleep," and he's doing his nails. Usually helps him doze off, but he has no idea what's wrong with him. And of course, and I love that moment where she said where Futaba walks in, scares him, and he's like a mountain hag, and he basically gets what Kojo normally gets.
Yep. I mean, yeah, Futaba does look very scary in that picture, though. So I don't blame him.
Yeah. So the whole point of this is that Futaba knows that what he's going through, that it's because this is something that I actually do love, because I love the fact that this whole point about Futaba basically being defeated has not gone away. Like it's been continued as like this is like a major defeat for them as a family.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm glad they paid significance to that. And also, just as like a smaller note, I kind of like that here we get to see Keigo like painting his nails and then painting his sister's nails. It's just like a very nice, sweet moment that you wouldn't really expect in other manga.
No, no, definitely, and particularly from these two, because we've not really had any interactions one on one with them until this point. So it's nice to
Yeah,
actually
when
get
I was
what this relationship actually is.
Yep, it reminded me this chapter of the Shion and Futaba chapter because it's like I like those chapters where it's like we get a pair of siblings so we can focus on their dynamics.
Yeah.
Really adds more depth to the family.
Do you? Here's a question. Do
I
you
hope
think?
Kyotro can get some of these because right now all we really get is him being like weirdly obsessed with Mutsumi.
I was gonna say that, like, because we've basically been focusing a lot on Futaba recently. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I guess yeah, with this and Shion, but I
Yeah.
mean, and of course the fight we had in the
Yeah.
mansion.
Um, do you think that it's going to be a case where she's going to get like chapters where it's just her and like say Mutsumi and Nanano and I basically everybody in this mansion. There's just going to be a chapter of Futaba and and this one person.
I mean, we can do that. I think we had one with Mutsumi in the past, but I could see, I could see that happening. But I would like to have some other sibling pairs, maybe Nanano with some people, or Shinzo,
Yeah, yeah,
and especially
um,
Kyuchiro, because
yeah.
well, because actually we did have that one chapter with Kyuchiro being like turned into an infantile form, and that kind of had like renewed some dynamics for him.
Oh
So
yeah, definitely.
maybe some other siblings like Nanano, because I don't think we have too much chapters with just him
No,
working with his siblings.
no, we don't. So yeah, moving on. She mentions that when so I love this kind of like interesting dynamic for Keigo as a character. Like whenever there's trouble in the family, it affects his skin. Like the day when the father disappeared, it was very sudden and everyone felt down, and he was the only one who was joking around and pulling pranks as usual, and how he's always been the clown of the family and played the fool to cheer us up. You hide your bitterness and tears under the disguise, doing all you can do. Like that is something very relatable that a lot of people can relate to, because we do use like laughter and joking as like a coping mechanism, and being like, no, everything's fine, and like we can kind of be a bit scared of actually releasing our feelings even to our family sometimes.
Yeah, and it's nice to know that Futaba is always keeping an eye out for her siblings as well. It's another beautiful point in this chapter. She's always like playing the big sister role, even in behind the scenes.
Yeah, but again, I love this about Keigo as well. How he basically uh brings up the problem for his situation is that he's not a combat fighter like the others. Like I would say he's probably the weakest out of the whole. Aside from Nanano, I would say he's the weakest out of the siblings.
And I mean, even then, Nanano has like chemicals to like, probably make him stronger. So yeah, I think Kengo is the weakest, and he kind of tries to make it makes sense. He has an inferiority complex about it.
Yeah, yeah, and he basically sums it up here. It's hardest for you and the others on the front line, and all he does is take it easy and lays around in the background. Is oh my god, it's kind of like the background main character kind of being like, yeah, I'm a background character, but I want to be in the forefront. Basically, that's basically what he's saying here.
I don't think he necessarily wants to be in the foreground, but he feels like he has to do
Okay, fair
all this
enough.
extra stuff because he can't fight on the front lines. At least that's how I interpreted it.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. But of course, Futaba, being the supportive big sister, says, "You're tormenting yourself because of how badly I was defeated. I'm sorry for ruining you, but it's okay now, and I won't lose next time. Nothing will ever happen that threatens to break up our family." And I love that image of just them all there, minus I for some reason.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. I hope we do get more moments like with other characters as well, because this was like a very beautiful moment. Just like
Yeah.
especially how it was drawn on pages 17, 16,
16
17.
and 17, like all the feels of that, like uh oh mate, like this is if only Sean Oji was here, like this is peak art for Mission Yotsuko family.
The art and the feels all just comes together. My God,
Yeah,
so beautiful.
so beautiful. Yeah. uh
Yeah.
and of course this pep talk from Futaba is what gets the pimple finally off his face, and back into perfect form, and he's radiating about this as well. Um, before of course Futaba, despite giving her a pet talk, she's still not going to take any of his crap, because he says, "Say, Futaba, what you know what this silky smooth soft skin is maybe too blinding for someone like you who ranked up a few years," and that of course gets him basically whirlwind out of the ceiling.
And then like the top of that page, page 19, we have Mutsumi now joining in
I
playing with
know,
Taya's skin.
I
And
know.
then Taya's like, okay, well, I love them, so I have to let them do this.
Yes, yes.
Poor
Yeah.
Taya. It's hard being a good boy.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty
Yeah,
solid
Yozakura,
chapter. Yeah.
just like that, just seeing, getting some history into the families past, like their character roles, some more into their dynamics. Of course, the beautiful art. Yeah, it almost might just be my chapter of the week. Which I mean, the other big one for competition is, of course, Doctor Stone,
Yeah,
and
which we're gonna get into in a minute.
yeah, but this was a really good chapter.
Yeah, really solid
And so
chapter.
I feel like we still aren't going to get any like major plot just yet. I feel like we're gonna still be setting some stuff up while searching for like the other relatives. But I think especially because usually with Yozakura, at least I feel, their intermediate chapters are usually a little disconnected from the main plot. So and I just got used to it. But I'm glad that now that they're kind of together, it's a little more coherent. I mean, so even 100 chapters in, the series is still improving upon itself,
Oh
which is
yeah,
nice to see.
definitely, definitely.
Although I will say, if this ever gets an anime, and I hope it does, it's going to be I think it'll be kind of like how I'm watching Eden Zero right now. Like season one of that just came out, and season one it just feels like such a basic, like fun little shonen show compared to like what it eventually developed into. So Yozakura will probably be similar, where it's like, oh yeah, this was kind of all over the place in the beginning.
Yeah, it'll probably be that, and then I think people will take notice. When we get to that point where Momo is first introduced, where he like just puts his hand on Tayu, and then you just see guys of blood coming from him. That'll probably get like,
Yeah,
oh
but think about that. That's like probably late season two at the earliest, at least based on
no,
quick math in my head.
I would
Because
say
wait, no, actually, that was in the 50s, I think.
no, that was in the 40s. Let me go back. I think it was like chapter 40. If I'm, let me just go back and actually look.
Chapter 40, that's Kengo hiding from Mutsumi. And then maybe it was 40.
I think it was somewhere in the 40s. Like, let me
Let me see. Yeah, 46. I found it.
46. Yeah, so that might be like depending on how many episodes Mission Yacht's got. Like, if it gets as many as Doctor Stone, then I could see it going up. I could see it like ending after the train fight.
Hang on, let me just check something in Dr. Stone real quick. Not the latest chapter, but just like some early stuff. Chapter, yeah, okay, yeah. So season one of Dr. Stone ended around chapter 60. So yeah, okay. I
Yeah,
think Yozakura is a lot younger than I realize sometimes because it did technically come out to 2019.
I
It's like
know.
barely even 2 years old.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy that Doctor Stone came out barely 2 years ago, and yet it's one of the longest running at the moment.
Well, not Dr. Stone, that was Yozakura.
Yeah, that
Dr.
mission.
Stone
Yeah,
came out in
yeah,
2017.
yeah,
That's like
yeah.
a
2017. Yeah,
But yeah, Yozakura, I could, yeah, you're right. I think we can end season. We could probably actually even end this first season like around that, which would be like, oh man, I feel like that's almost like a My Hero situation where it's like, okay, season one was pretty okay, but season two is where it gets really good.
yeah,
Because that's how I
definitely,
felt about My Hero.
definitely. But I think people will take interest in it. Like, oh my god, we've actually got a married shonen couple as the main characters. Like that. That'll get people like talking about it probably right off the bat.
Oh yeah, I mean, it got me talking about it. But I do also hope they kind of smooth out some of the earlier stuff. And I think if they do that, they can make a really solid first season. But then this is all assuming it gets an anime. I feel like we should have had the announcement already by now because Chainsaw
Yeah.
Man has one. It doesn't have nearly as many chapters.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, Chainsaw Man is an enigma. Like it breaks all the
Well, I mean, even
rules.
okay, Spy X Family, like
Oh yeah, definitely. Spy X like that. Really, like really.
I'm just saying, like series that sell like insanely well, I like get announcements like way
Yeah,
sooner. So I'm hoping it's Yozakura still gets one, even though it doesn't sell as much. If a series like say I don't know Mashal or something, which probably has enough content by now for an anime. Like if it gets announced before Yozakura, I'm gonna be like, look, I like Mashal, but really, come on,
yeah,
Yozakura needs an anime.
yeah. Uh, I agree. And just gotta say one thing because Roger Space is doing his manga of the year series coming up with
Yeah,
Axel Axel, what was his name? Trying to figure out, remember the guy's name because it was like Sean. Oh, yeah, Axel Blaze. That was it. That was it.
yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the judges. So let's hope he gives some love to Mission Yotsukura and gets people gets some people talking about it and why they should go and read it.
Yep, definitely looking forward to that video. But with Rogers Base, I was surprised though when I was looking at some of the lists because I mean some of them made sense, but then a few I was expecting to see like Fire Force or something for one thing, but then I don't know if it qualified. Maybe that's the reason it's not there.
I'm
But
surprised
then
that
Eden Zero was like number 8. I'm like, oh man, people are really digging that series.
yeah.
It's really nice to see.
But I was surprised that people picked Mission Yosakura from. It's like it's obviously got a fan base, like really
Oh
got a
yeah,
fan
for
base
sure.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but
definitely has more of a fan base, which I mean is all the more reason it needs an anime to
yeah,
get more attention.
definitely. But anyway, I think now we should move on to talking about the big one, Doctor Stone.
Yep. Let me just I'll make it up the time. Do I'll say 10-ish. Or yeah, 3:30-ish. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now we're at Dr. Stone, our favorite series to talk about, and what a chapter this week.
What a chapter! Even though I was listening to someone's read through of the chapter, who uh uh, let me because I did tweet to them as well.
Yeah, I think I saw that. And yeah, I think I've seen some of her reactions before. I didn't really stick
Oh
with the
yeah,
channel. Yep.
oh yeah, that you know who I'm talking about then.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like when I was looking up Dr. Stone reactors like very early on, that's how I found Controlled Chaos for one thing, and I think eventually your channel as well. Um, like she was like one of those people who was actually reading Dr. Stone,
yeah.
but yeah.
So
So I don't know.
I was watching her video earlier today, and she was completely baffled why Kaku is on the moon mission, and I'm just there like thinking like, have you not been reading the series?
Wait, were reading? You're watching a reaction to
I
this
was
chapter that we're
this
talking about, or
this chapter, and she's still
oh, maybe she missed a chapter by accident then, or something.
like because I'm like I was like baffled like haven't you been reading the series? It's clearly obvious why Kaku's going. And I said like and from a story perspective, it's poetic how the descendant of Lillian and Byakuya is going into space with Byakuya's son.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's those parallels, but there's also like all the reasons Tsukasa came up with this her own fighting style being more suitable for moon combat, and
Mm-hmm.
her being less weight allows her to have less payload for the rocket launch itself. So yeah,
Yeah,
there's like plenty of reasons. It was pretty well listed last time.
yeah. And I actually just linked to Sean Oji's video that he did on
Yeah, I
Tsukasa.
did see that on.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was a good video by Shonen Noji.
yeah. Um, so anyway, moving on to talking about the chapter. It starts off pretty much from where we left off with Ryusui saying to himself that actually the one who's the most capable pilot is not me, and we get him think. I love the fact that he's like he's like looking at the prototype of the rocket, and then he flashes back to when he was like doing that when he was like saying this ship's not content just being a model. I'm going to set sail someday on a real ship of my own. I love the fact that he's like just thinking about that moment.
Yep, and it kind of ties into like a moment near the end, and as well as we saw this flashback from
Yeah,
the last chapter. Like this is like a big deal for him
yeah,
because
and
like he's been building these models ships, and he built a model rocket, and you know.
the fact that he knows he's not going to be able to go on it now. That's kind of a big major blow for him as a character, but also really humbles his character as well. The fact that I may desire this, but I know what humanity desires to be free from Y-Man more.
Yeah, and as we learned from Francois like, early on when we first introduced to Ryusui, Ryusui's desire isn't like self-centered. It's a desire for like humanity as a whole, and it's for other people to shine. And you know, we really get to see that here
Yeah,
in like the best way possible. So
yeah,
yeah, great
definitely.
chapter for his
Yeah,
character.
two great chapters for his character back to back. This one and the last one.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, this one kind of follows up from last one.
yeah, this one as well. So we get so whilst he's sitting in the house hut that they've built, we get Senku passing by the river, and I love this because this is actually a callback to the beginning of the series where we had that flashback of Senku when he was having that conversation with Tsukasa, and it showed Gen's book, and they were asking like, if you could save your lover or your parent, who would you choose? Like, this is kind of like a callback to that as well, because of him telling the story of the young and dashing knight who pines for the princess, but then a more suitable suitor comes over for him. Like, what would you do as a science pro? I love that callback.
Man, I love how I didn't think about that, so that's a good point. And I do like how Senku is very confused at first, but then because he doesn't speak in parables, but then
Yeah.
he like immediately picks up on what Ryusu's looking at and what's going on. And it kind of just like points to their connection after all this time as well, because he was the one in the plane with Ryusu when they fought.
Yeah,
Well,
he
at
was.
the time it
Charlotte
was a
that they're
Charlotte, but
facing. Yeah.
yeah, they were the ones flying together, so he kind of knows what he's thinking right now
Yeah.
because of what they've been through.
So we have
And I also
Senku's.
do like how Senku gives the answer that we expected him to, but then he also pointed out that even Ryusu expected this answer.
Yeah, it's kind of like Senku's not so much as a schlocksy kind of person. He's gonna give the most efficient answer. So he's gonna say. So it's obvious he's gonna say like, yeah, the one who's most suited should be the one to get it.
Yep. But at the same time, we do see a moment like where Senku's really thinking about what he was going to say before he says it. And I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's actually some nice consideration on Senku's part. I'll say that with some other characters who also have
yeah.
those moments down the line as we get to it.
Yeah. So then we get Sinu's reaction to like, oh, okay, you want to revive Stanley, a truly wise pick for the job. No objections, I presume. Yeah, no objections from us, maybe from some other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we get Gen basically picking up on what's going on, like playing it cool to the max. When he can't help but show emotion, he simply hides his face like master like pupil. Yeah, and we all know what emotion Sinu is thinking right now.
Yep. I
Like
mean, we'll see.
we'll get to that we'll get to that moment. We'll get to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but but I love the fact that Sinu actually goes back to thinking like, yeah, if you revive Stanley, we might just decide to take over the world again. Like, he's still on that.
Yeah, and that is one thing I want to talk to you about because I'm trying to understand exactly what this chapter was trying to say about it. Because when I was reading the Raws for this one, I was thinking, okay, that's cool. It's like Zeno still wants to conquer the world, but he's just not in the best place for it right now. Even with Stanley, just because of all these people around, it's still not the most ideal opportune time to make a move. That's kind of what Ryusu says in the next panel. It's like the world domination's a non-starter. But at the same time, when I'm reading the official translations based on what we get in the next couple pages, it makes it seem like they're trying to say that Zeno isn't evil as he used to be. I'm not too sure. What were your thoughts on that?
I think it's more a case of like now that science is pretty much dominating the world. There's no point for him to actually take it over at this point because he's basically the one in charge. Like they say you are one of our leaders now. So he's because the whole thing about Sinu is that if you remember the panel where it was basically being used as a puppet figure. But now that he gets to be the puppet master, there's like, okay, I've got authority in this world myself, so I don't need to take it over. That was my takeaway from it.
You know what? I think I actually like that interpretation better because it kind of fits with the you no longer need to burden with yourself as the villain role because you kind of got what you wanted.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm getting at here. Like, yeah, because he essentially is ruling the world. It's just not him as a whole. It's like he's got other people around him.
Yeah, okay. I can kind of accept that. I'll need to maybe think about it a little bit more, but it's kind of like an interesting play with Zeno. He's like still willing to play the villain, but it seems like the characters don't really want him to play the villain anymore.
No, they don't. They really don't. And there's no point. There's no point in him playing the villain anymore. Like that. I think that's the main point about it. Yeah, there's no point in you playing the villain.
Yeah, I guess not. I guess that is what this chapter is saying.
Like, so we get everyone just getting reactions. Like Giro basically has the best reactions in this chapter because he knows what Stanley is like particularly when he was like had
Matsukaze up on his boat.
Yeah, Matsukaze up at gunpoint. Yeah.
Yep.
And of course,
I think Ginro makes a good point. Freaking out's kind of ridiculous because Stanley is a soldier who follows orders. So, yeah, he'll do what he's told.
Yeah,
that's
yeah, but that's pretty much a Ginro reaction. Like waking him up, he might grab a gun and start shooting us. Which, yeah, based on what you know of Stanley, that would probably be the most logical reaction to go with. Yeah, but of course, Tsukasa's there to guard the VIP, which you had one job to do in South America, and you just let him to come back to Japan, Tsukasa.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm still not.
I mean, at least he's doing it now.
Yeah, at least he's doing it now. So yeah, basically, Suyu says, "Oh yeah, call me a hostage if you wish," because that's basically what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that about Xeno's character. He's like, let's not play games. You know what this is about.
Yeah.
And then I do like, we already talked about Ginro's line and Ukyo's line, because like I said, Ukyo brings up a good point why we can trust Stanley. But Kohaku's line, I think, is what I really want to talk about for this page. Well, besides what Chelsea says next. But Kohaku brings up a good point that a mission to save all of humanity, there's no better way for what he's done.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, like, this is like a good, it's like, they basically confirm that this is like Stanley's redemption arc. Like, that's what we're doing right now.
Definitely. And the whole thing about Stanley is that he wasn't exactly doing it for the sake of doing it. He just wanted, he was just going to get his leader/boyfriend back.
Yeah. So in this case, you're right, it doesn't really feel like he needs atonement, but it kind of just works from the fact that he does play a villain role in the story.
Oh yeah,
and now he's going to get to play a hero role. So yeah, it is nice all the same to have like an arc. But I'll explore more about that when near the end.
Yeah. So we have Chelsea asking Ryusui if he's sure about this, and of course he's playing it really cool. Really cool about this, but that's not what she means. Wasn't he helped to go to the moon? And this kind of like throws him off a bit. And somebody actually did bring up that this is probably the first time we've seen Chelsea with kind of like a normal face. Oh,
that's actually a very good point. Because usually it's like something goofy or crazy.
Like usually her lips are like the
number 3.
The number 3, yeah.
Yeah, and but I mean,
and now they're more like a slot that something goes into.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is a good point. I didn't even realize that. But what I want to say about Chelsea in this is, on one hand, this is another character that's trying to show some consideration towards Ryusui's feelings, and so we get a good amount of that going on. And there's a reason I keep bringing this up. I'll come back to it at the end. But the other thing with this particular moment, I was thinking to myself, Chelsea, you know what's going on. Why do you have to be so blunt? I know you're Chelsea the Blunt, but he's clearly torn up about this. You didn't have to do him like this.
No, you didn't.
She's basically saying, do you want to cry, Ryusui? It's okay if you want to cry. It's like, stop it, Chelsea. Not now.
Yeah. So we get them all going down to revive Stanley's statue, and of course, the first thing that Xenu gives him is a cigarette.
Yep. I mean, again, I think we brought up when the American arc first started, we invented just the cigarettes, tobacco, just for his buddies.
And this pretty much confirms it. It's like, yeah, the first thing that Stanley's got to do when he gets out of the stone, he's got to smoke a cigarette. Why?
Yeah, that is like several levels of addiction. The petrification can cure a lot of things, but not addiction.
I know. I could just imagine like the conversation that some people are having, like, what what are you doing? Were you like some of the villagers were probably having when Senior was like making it? Like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just making a cigarette. Like, and then they're like, "What's a cigarette?" It's like, don't ask. It's Stanley's thing.
So I did want to bring up this point that I saw online that I didn't really think about, but if you notice, Stanley has his scars. So some people said it's like, oh wow, they just painted it right on him as soon as they woke him up. But
No,
I'm
I don't.
wondering, it's like
I,
they don't have any like paint necessarily with them.
no,
At least I don't.
no. And the scars are in the exact same places he originally had them. It's just,
Yeah, and
it's just the middle bit is, carved. I think it's meant to be kind
but
of
then
like,
again, he clearly applied some lipstick, so maybe they do have it.
yeah, probably. I mean, I think it's more like kind of like how Sinu's scars have become more light to show like, he's on our side now. I think it's kind of the same thing with Stanley, like the 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 fixed point of like, I'm just gonna get these guys is kind of broken away now. Like, or maybe I'm looking too deep into it.
I'm trying to remember. Stanley's scars never went across his face, right? They were always just located on his eyes.
Let me actually look at his. Let me get up where, because he first appeared in chapter 150, so that'll be easy to go. Yeah, I'm such a nerd that I remember when Stanley was first introduced.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah, 150. So let's see. Yeah, we've got the plane. Yeah, they're in the exact same place. So I'll bring up the image.
Okay. I mean, that's fine. My app's kind of being weird right now. It's not loading properly. But I'll take your word for it. They're in the exact same place. So, I mean, okay.
Yeah,
If they're in
yeah,
the. Oh,
yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah.
cool.
I
Thanks.
messaged you, so you can actually see.
Yep. So, let's
So
see.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, this
they
is
are.
also loading. But, okay, they're in the same place. Okay, well, here's the thing then. Oh, man, God, what's going on? So here's the thing then. If Stanley's scars are there and they aren't. Wait, no, no, no. His scar does go across his face. Like,
Yeah,
look, it's
yeah,
going across his nose.
yeah, yeah. It goes across his nose. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so they
it's
are
the
different
scar.
than they were.
Yeah,
Okay, so these are
it's
different scars. Okay.
it's like how Sinu's scar, when it was first introduced, was like pitch black, and now it's complete, and now it's like healed to like it to like just show his face without the pitch
Yeah,
blackness.
okay, to show character like reformation. Got it. Okay, yeah, that is a nice detail and a nice parallel with Zeno as well. Of course, the big question is I wonder why like Stanley, Zeno, and like even Senku have like scars staying while the other characters don't. It's an interesting question. Like one person brought up a theory that maybe it's because those guys were originally woken up using not the miracle fluid nitol, but nitric acid just over time. And so that's why
That
their scars are permanent.
that's probably a good explanation. Like, it
The
wasn't
problem
quite.
with that theory, though, is that someone else pointed out is the Taiju scars disappeared, and Taiju was also woken up.
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
So I like that theory up until that one moment, unless there's a reason why Taiju is an exception, like maybe him being underground or something, or Senku doing something with him, statue. I don't know.
Oh no, no. If you remember, it's because Senku Senior and Stanley, because Taiju was petrified on Treasure Island. So that's the reason why Senku was never petrified, and he did say that it's withered so much that it's permanent now for him. So maybe it's the same for Senior and Stanley. Oh, but
I guess so.
no,
I hope
no, but
when they
then
reach the
no,
Y Man, they kind of explain that.
no, but then I realized like Leonard, his scar's gone as well.
I'd actually, when have we seen Leonard since?
It was in chapter 200 when they were doing that whole "Do you want to die?" No, no, chapter 201. Do you want to die? We saw his face and the scar's gone on his face.
Man, you have a really good recollection of that. Let's see. I'm just going to pull it up for myself because I just have the chapter up here. Uh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's gone. So yeah, I do hope when we reach the Y Man, like more about the petrification of the scars or kind of more explained a little bit, just because it would be nice to have like a real explanation other than, these are like the principal characters. They need cool scars.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. Also, got to talk about Stanley's outfit. Love the fact that
Oh yeah, he got claws. I love that. Just got freaking claws.
He got claws and he got fee belts, like fee for victory.
My God, it's so hilarious. I love Boichi's designs. It's so funny.
I love the fact that this is like a callback to when Tsukasa was woken up after Treasure Island. He was like, "What's the situation?" Like Stanley's like, "What's the job?" Like, just get straight to the point.
Because as we saw on in the American arc, when Stanley is Zeno's knight, there's the Tsukasa is Senku's knight. So it's very suitable that both of these knights have that same mentality.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, Senku, of course, loves it when, we don't have to deal with the character going, oh my God, what's going on?
I know. But one thing that excites me about this chapter is the fact that we finally got it. Sinu, Stanley, and Senku all in the same place at the same time at last.
True. Yeah, you did bring that up last time. And they didn't really bring it up. Huh.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I just like that. Like we finally come full circle.
To be fair, they were sort of I guess they kind of were there together in South America, but yeah, this is like really the first proper meeting between them.
Yeah, and now it's like we can because we've had like Senku have conversations with all the big bads except for Stanley, and now we can finally have a moment where him and Stanley can have a conversation.
Yeah, that is true. And I hope we see that maybe next chapter.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that, now that we have Stanley brought back, I want to say one of the things I really hope is that we get to flesh out Stanley's character a bit more. Because I feel like Stanley, like the one thing we know about the guy is that he's a soldier, he's really good at his piloting, shooting thing, and that he really likes Zeno. But we don't really know much about a lot about him personally other than those things. And I would have really liked to have learned more about his time in the military, his like philosophy in life, or I don't know, something a little bit more.
I think we are going to get. I think we are going to get like a Stanley flashback, like at some point, like why him specifically, why he's the greatest pilot, why he's the greatest marksman. Like this,
I would really like that. I would actually love it if, especially like Pie in the Sky Dream, if the American soldiers had some time with Stanley, because they missed their opportunity with the boat trip. But this would be a good time for them to like really do some bonding, doing some fleshing out of those characters as well. Yeah. So I mean, this is all the stuff that I think Stanley brings to the table, going back to the story, and I hope it happens.
Yeah. So we get that Senku says he loves it when they catch on so quickly, and Sinu saying he's a professional, so he's always up to the task. And we get Sinu basically giving Stanley a conundrum about on the moon. Say you were to shoot a 1 pound piece of ammunition with an initial velocity of 600 meters per second on the moon's surface, gravity and acceleration are a sixth of what they are on Earth, and air resistance is 0. And your target is a Medusa device exactly 1 kilometer away, how much would it be? And he says it should be 0.13 degrees, which Senku says, yeah, the math's not off. And Sinu questions.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
I just want to say that one of my favorite Dr. Stone YouTubers, he did the math, and yes, this all checks out. It's a pretty basic math problem you could at high school level, but it's still nice that it's just like all super accurate and shows Stanley's just natural, intuitive interpretation of how to shoot. It just shows his skill level in a very Dr. Stone way, and also kind of just a shout out to Illustrious Eludication. Thanks for doing the math, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, and now we get to the moment where Twitter exploded with the shipping posts.
Oh yes, it's been on my Twitter feed all day.
Yeah, you've seen all the Stanley x Sinu shipping posts, but this pretty much confirms that they are a couple, because we have to give you the context for anyone listening. Sinu asks, "Are you up to the task, Stan?" And we get Stanley caressing Sinu's lips with his thumb. Like, if that's not telling you, we are lovers, then I don't know what is. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. Don't you ever just caress your best friend's face?
Everything's
gonna be okay.
Not in that way. Which this this is what I would love for a Stanley flashback of how him and Sinu came to be going from childhood friends to lovers. Is that Stanley, because of the way he looks and the fact that he always wears lipstick, I feel like he was a character that was a bit more open about being feminine and was actually bullied for it, but Sinu was actually there to defend him all the way.
I mean, I do hope we expand upon him and maybe the relationship as well. But if they're going to do it, especially with this page, just like confirm that they're romantically engaged, because it's just kind of weird at this point. It's just awkward.
Like nobody
unsaid.
Nobody does that to their quote unquote childhood best friend. They have feelings for each other.
Oh my god, it is just like so palpable. But it's like I don't know why they just can't confirm it. I mean, we have like other series like Ayakashi Triangle having like same sex couples, and technically our MCs almost can be considered trans for all things considered.
Yeah, like here's the thing. If they don't want to go like, okay, if they don't want to come out and say it, just have Stanley peck Sino on the forehead. Like, just do that. That's all we need.
I mean, that would still be nice, but honestly, I would just rather them confirm it because it's just too obvious, and it's kind of almost weird that they don't.
Yeah. I think that's the reason. Like, they don't. I feel like Boichi and Nagaki kind of want to be more subtle about it. Like, okay, you can pick up on it. They don't have to say it.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's there.
We get it. We obviously get it. I think there's been more than enough hints throughout the series at this moment in time. Like, particularly when they reunited and they were like basically flirting as the petrification was coming for them.
Yep. And then I guess that's all that. We transition into Ryusui doing some shooting training as a backup. And I kind of want to bring up this point because this kind of confirms that there are backup pilots or astronauts.
Yeah, so it makes me
something
think,
to keep in mind.
It makes me think as well, is there gonna be a situation where Stanley, Senku, and Kohoku actually lose the first round on the moon, and they're stranded there, and then others have to go and get them?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking right now, and it feels like they're dropping enough hints to prove that it's going to happen.
Yeah,
and I kind of hope it does, just for Ryusui sake, because my God, he feels so bad. Like in the next page. I mean, what's nice about this, I think, that they right before he says, like he like breaks down, he has like this flashback to not just him building a model, but him making simulations for him. Like when they were kids.
Actually, I was just going to say, I don't think that's him having a flashback. I think it's Sai having the flashback, because Sai's in the exact same chair that Ryusui was at the beginning of the chapter.
I mean, it could both be thinking about it. They could both be reminiscing of this moment. But my point is, like, what I like about that is Ryusui, it's not just that, oh man, he wants to go to the moon, because that would be cool. And he built a model, but he built a model that his brother had made simulations for. They're doing the things that they didn't have the chance to do as kids, and it was going to be big. It was going to be epic. And it was going to be like a very important moment for the Nanami brothers, but he has to give up on that for the sake of humanity. And God, and then Boichi just drawing those tears right after that.
Oh yeah, the tears. I think that's the first time we've ever seen Ryusui get that emotional.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I can't think of a time when he's been this emotional. Oh man, but that's just so well drawn.
Yeah, maybe.
And then what I like. Oh, go ahead.
Maybe when he was like convincing Sai to come with them rather than stay behind.
Yeah, that's like the closest. Yeah, because he really wanted Sai to come with them, but even this like is beyond that, because he finally reconciled with his brother and everything was going well.
Yeah. which makes the question, if this turns out, because we know Senku has the worst luck in the world, so it's probably going to be a case of like, yeah, Wyman's not going to listen and he's going to petrify them right away.
Yeah, I mean, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It feels like something has to happen.
Which hey, if that's the case, then that could extend the story a little bit longer from where it was initially going to end, and we might get another like because that's the thing that's happened in all. That's the thing that happened with the last big battle for the Medusa on Treasure Island. Like something went wrong, and they had to retreat and come up with a backup plan.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Things had to change really quickly with that. They had a whole plan set, but then it didn't go according to plan.
Yeah.
Because it never does.
Which begs the question.
Or actually, even in Stone Wars, when they got the Miracle Cave just as planned, but then Tsukasa just had to show up, and all of a sudden they were doomed.
Yeah. Which begs the question of like, okay, if this all goes well, and Senku, Kohoko, and Stanley end up petrified on the moon, like Ryusui will obviously be the pilot, but who will be the other two to go with him? That's the question.
Right, because obviously Tsukasa's there, and then of course we have Chrome and Suika as potential scientists.
That take both of them. Like take
or actually, what would be interesting is if Stanley's the one in danger. I wonder if Xenu is gonna like get into a confrontation with Chrome over who's gonna go. Because Lino might be like, I need to go. That's Stanley, my basically boyfriend up there. But then Chrome's like, we need you down here to do mission control stuff. That could be like a whole moment between those two. And then like Chrome could be like, Xeno, you once trusted me to be like a high-ranking official in your government for the world domination. You got to trust me right now that I'm going to save Stanley.
Yeah, definitely.
I would love that, actually.
I would actually love that. And also as well, get Gen up there as well. Like, because, yeah, that could, like, get Gen up there because you need his silver tongue to face down Y-Man.
I mean, that's what we said before, but I don't know if it'll happen again. I hope it does because he is a major character, but
yeah.
I mean, I feel like next time they'll be like, okay, we're going to need a bigger rocket.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the next thing I want to say at the chapter going forward is we see Stanley make 3 shots in a row. And what I like about this moment here is when I read
it's not 3 shots in a row, it's 4 shots because it's 4 targets.
Oh, 4, right. I missed a target. You're right. Yeah, so 4 shots in a row. And when earlier we saw Ryusui not even hitting a bullseye, is that Stanley, he's overhearing all this. He knows how much this means to Ryusui. He knows, like, he's seeing him cry, and he wants to, like, reassure him that he made the right decision, waking him up. So this is like the last, him and Francois, actually. These are like the last 2 characters that, again, show a lot of empathy towards Ryusui. Like, there's a lot of characters that are, like, really being very empathetic towards this situation. And I really enjoy that, because we're seeing, like, these characters that have, like, gotten close to each other and are just, like, more emotionally connected. And it makes the chapter hit that much harder.
Yeah, definitely.
But the other reason I bring up all these empathy points, and this is, I don't want me to undermine this, but where was all this when Suika woke up everybody? I mean, she got like, one hug from Senku and Kohaku, and then we're like, okay, well, I hope 7 years of trauma didn't do much to you. Because I remember people were really mad about Suika, like, just not getting attention she deserved after all that. But like here, like several people are comforting Ryusui over not getting to ride a rocket ship.
Oh my god, yeah.
I just thought about that while I was thinking about this chapter in the back of my head.
Good point.
I like this chapter, but oh my god, guys, come on. Where were you when Suika needed this?
Good point. But yeah, so yeah, we have Stanley making the shots on the bullseye, and him just simply walking away with the moon perfectly looking down on him, which makes me think, yeah, something's gonna happen. Like the fact that they have Stanley literally facing down the moon in the last panel, that makes me think that, yeah, something's gonna happen.
The other thing is that this last panel's says Senku Ishigami, Kohaku, Stanley Snyder. Those three have been selected. But really, is that it? Because we had a chapter last time, 2 weeks ago, where Kohaku got a seat by Tsukasa, giving it up to her because she was better fit. Then we have Ryusui here giving a seat up to Stanley Snyder because he was a better fit. So it's like, is Senku still going up? Because on one hand, if our theory about a backup rocket's going to happen, very likely Senku's still going to go up and Chrome will just follow up later. Or Senku, if that theory isn't panned out, maybe Senku is also going to consider Chrome because maybe after listening to Ryusui's whole thing about who's the best person to go up, after seeing Tsukasa and Ryusui both to do this, maybe he'll think to himself, am I really the best person?
Oh, and then we might actually get Chrome and Suika going up together because they're his proteges, basically.
I mean, we'll see. We talked about that as well because then there's like the weight correction to think about. But yeah, at the same time, it could just be that this panel is confirming that yes, these are the three astronauts. But if these are the three astronauts, then like I wonder if we're going to get some training action going on, if we're going to get more Stanley focused chapters, because I would like to see Stanley going.
I think we will. I think we'll get more training just for backup. Like Stanley will be training Kohaku and Senku in like.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. They need to learn how to use a gun.
Using firearms, and also just like pilot training as well. Just like in case something happens to him, they know what to do.
Because the only other pilot that has Ryusui I could think of was Carlos, but we haven't even seen him for a while.
No, we haven't seen them for a while. No.
The other thing I want to bring up, and I think I brought this up in a Just King video, is like as they're nearing, the launch to go face Y-Man, we haven't dealt with the traitor yet, or / the accidental activation of the Medusa if there is no traitor.
Yeah, I'd also as well, we still haven't built the spacesuits and the spaceship itself.
Yeah, I mean the spaceship itself, I think, is being built in space or something. But so still lots to go. But the reason I bring up the traitor thing is I've said this in a Just King video, but Stanley, he was petrified this whole time. So in many ways, he's already like the least likely to be, the traitor who set off the Medusa, if you can think of it. So I wonder if Stanley is going to play a big role in sussing out who the traitor is. Because I think that would be a great way to like start his, okay, can we, trust Stanley or whatever? I mean, I trust him, basically. He has no reason to rebel. But if for everyone else, if we need a whole, okay, Stanley's definitely on our side, him finding another traitor amongst them is going to be a good way to do that, I think. So that's another possible storyline I came up with.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, but again, what I've loved most about these chapters is that the pacing has slowed down dramatically.
Yes, absolutely. Because I mean, I wasn't too bothered by the pacing, but I will say it's so nice to have more character-centric chapters, so many character arcs, so much development.
Yeah.
I still want more. I still want more of this. I don't need the Y-Man just yet. You can just keep doing this for me.
I think we don't need the Y-Man just yet. I feel like I'm gonna ballpark estimate 235 is when we finally start taking off.
Yeah.
And
so if we're going to wait till 235, then I'd want them to like deal with the traitor situation before then, because I feel like that could take a good amount of time. Yeah. Besides, of course, all the small chapters we'll have with the training and
just actually building the rock, like, because you say it's going to be built in space, but they still need to build it to actually get to space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, and we're only on model prototypes at the moment.
Also true.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then there's so many more things they could do character-wise because it's the last arc, so let's really flesh out their cast.
Let's just go all out. Let's just do a Bleach 1,000-Year Blood War style final arc. Just go all out, go nuts, take as long as you need.
Yep, that would be great. But we'll see. We'll see what's coming up next. But excellent Doctor Stone chapter.
Yeah. And I feel that's everything. Everything now that we've talked about, and God, we've been talking for so long.
Yeah, it's almost been 4 hours.
I know. I
Man.
really underestimate how long we actually talk for.
Yep. But hey, I hope anybody who's listening or watching these is enjoyed.
Yeah.
What we can, I will try to leave some timestamps so you guys can skip to whatever series you want. You're gonna have to probably just give me a minute to go in and put them in the comments. Just look for the first comment. I'll be there.
All right. But yeah, thanks for everyone that joined, if they joined, and hope anyone who listens to this in the future enjoys it as well. And with that, peace.